weeks. It's kind of nice.
Tonight on the podcast, we're talking about Sam Raimi wanting to direct a Batman movie, a new Spider-Man in town, Nicolas Cage as a DC villain, a new Wolverine, all that and so much more tonight on this episode, this Travis-filled episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast. It is Friday night in Phoenix, and you're listening to the best damn pop culture podcast in all the land, the Absolute Geek Podcast. I am Matt.
I'm Max.
I'm Travis.
That's right. When literally the dad of half the world's population can't be here, you do the next best thing, and you call in Rent-A-Dad.
Rent-A-Dad!
That's why Travis is here. So,
and
back, Travis. Good to
every
see
day,
you.
business gets more booming. You know, one thing people don't stop doing, having children.
You're a busy man.
Yeah.
You have life advice to share and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Man, how have you been? Seeing pictures of you spelunking, looking all jacked and caves?
Yeah, man. I'm. You know what? I'm living my best uncharted life over here in Guam.
You're looking a little Nathan Drake-y.
I was gonna say you kind of look like Nathan Drake. Actually,
I cut off the mop. I'm getting some sun. Just trying to be healthy. Vitamin D.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You're getting so ripped.
Yeah, it's fun, man, being active and outdoors. But I was just we were talking before the air, like it really cuts into my pop culture time, which during COVID was during COVID, like for the last couple of years has been like my sanctum. You know, getting on podcasts, talking to people, interacting with the world in the way I could, and now it's like, oh, I can go out and do stuff. And so now I'm trying to find the balance. You know, you always tilt one way or the other.
It's awesome. We're still trying to find that balance here where we're getting back into life as we know it or knew it before
baby.
Well, I'm gonna say before COVID, but
that too. Yeah,
so
dude,
we were all in the same place when they're like, hey, this new Batman movie is 3 hours. I'm like, 3 hours? That's so much of a day. And
yeah,
you guys are like, 3 hours? That's so expensive babysitting.
Yeah. Well, unless you get them, that's why you got to make sure you have plenty of grandparents and aunts and uncles to do it for free.
Oh yeah, they'll show up when the baby's young, but once the new baby smell wears off, you're calling up the neighborhood Girl Scouts.
That's true. Well, or you have the silver lining of my wife not really liking the movie theater. I just go by myself and she watches the kid, so it works out.
He cheats on her and he goes with Lance.
I do. I cheat on her.
And they hold hands.
You know what we do in the privacy of our movie theaters is none of your business.
You know, movie theaters are public spaces, so
true. No,
Ish in the chat wants to know where the stash is, Travis.
I'm cleaning it up, man. I'm cleaning it up, and just it's gone. I know. Some days I look at it. Here's the problem, Ish. I'm gonna tell you right now. Scuba, the stash couldn't get a good seal. Couldn't get a good seal on that.
Sure. It's Scuba. It's Scuba. Yeah. We'll go with Scuba. It's not. I saw the picture of you coming out of the cave, arms all jacked. It's definitely not all the ass you're probably crushing. It's definitely like from Scuba.
A mustache would have really complimented that pic.
It probably hasn't rubbed off from all the people sitting on your face or something. It's totally Scuba.
Max isn't the only one who has private movie viewings. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Love it.
We'll go Scuba. Right? That's good stuff, though. What about you, Max? What have you been up to this week?
Not a lot. Just, I took the day off today, which was nice. And hung out with the kid, went to Sam's Club and Best Buy and played. And it was a nice day. I also had the privilege of doing Lance's dishes earlier this week. So that was fun. His wife had surgery on Monday and he's been a bit overwhelmed taking care of all the kids by himself.
Well, yeah. So, when you fathered like 5,000 kids, you got a lot of.
Let me ask you something. Can we talk about Lance's dishware? How much? Because he's got a bunch of kids. How much of his dishware is plastic?
A lot.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I could have estimate? I would say 70%.
Yeah, I mean, like the cutlery and stuff. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, because a lot of the stuff I was putting away was also pots and pans. I mean, that's not plastic. But yeah, pretty much every plate I put away. I know some of them were not plastic, but it's crazy because like we only have the one kid and my wife and I. So like when we have dinner here at home, it's 3 plates. It's not that big a deal. But feeding his whole family, and then my kid was eating too. Man alive, I can see why you got to do dishes all the time now because it's 8 plates. I didn't end up eating, but like that's 8 people. I had 8 plastic plates I'm getting out for people and serving them up the pizza that someone brought by. It's crazy, man.
I can imagine a lot of like KFC sporks. He just goes
Sure.
to KFC and grabs all their sporks and leaves.
The spice rack is all just like pepper packets from different fast food restaurants.
Yeah, different hot sauces from Taco Bell that say different sayings.
Dude, it was freaking. It was
because we love.
Oh, you're good, dude. It was chaos over there. I felt bad. I felt bad for him because part of it's self-inflicted. They like to have they let the neighbor kids come over, and so that's even just more chaos. Yeah. 5 kids plus like 4 neighbor kids. And they're like, kids are running in and out of the room, tripping and falling, making a mess. And then he was like asked to watch his neighbor's dog because the neighbor's dad died and he had to go to the funeral. And so like Lance asked one of the other neighbors to help out because he was too busy. And that neighbor's like, hey, we didn't feed them quick enough. And then they threw up because they drank their water too fast. And I'm like, oh man, this is freaking chaos over here.
Do you think houses, when you have a house that has a dog, you come in there, oh, it smells like dog. But like 3 dogs, like, oh, this house smells like dog. It's not a bad thing. It's just like this person has dogs in this house. You think that at a certain number of kids, that a house gets a kid smell? Like when you walk in the house and there's like their kids and the neighbor's kids, did it have like a funky kid smell to it?
I imagine it smells like a diaper pail.
I don't know what they've done. I think they've started using more air fresheners because like people. Well, this isn't like meant to dog.
House.
This isn't like meant to dog on how it smelled before, but their house doesn't smell like it used to. I used to go into their house, like everyone's house has a distinct smell. I'm sure mine does. I just don't know what it is because that's where I live.
Well, it smells like hope.
It might smell bad for all I know.
Mine smells like success.
Oh, I want that.
But yeah, dude, his house used to have a smell, and now I go in and it smells like Sensi's because they've got so many plugged in, which is a nice smell.
Well, yeah, you got to. When you have so many damn kids, you never know who shit themselves or threw up or what. So you got to constantly have something smelling better than the rest of the children.
Yeah,
or dirt. We got some questions. Ish wants to know who has more kids, Lance or Sam.
Sam. I'm pretty sure Sam has 6.
Oh, really? Sam has 6
pretty
kids?
Sure. I think so. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they both have 5. I think Sam has 6 though.
I wanted to say Sam had 7, but maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe he has 7. Maybe I'm wrong.
Stick Boy says Lance is growing his own brick oven Pizza Hut employees to save on paying illegal immigrants from across the border. Ish apparently only uses Chipotle cutlery at home now. And Aaron says that neighbor kids keep his kids busy.
That's true. Dude, I use plastic at my house a lot. I know it's probably not the best for the planet, but paper plates, plastic forks, it's just so much easier to clean up some of the time. I'm all about that Chipotle
I think you should get
cutlery.
like a really nice like china cabinet with like the lights inside, and then put your plastic cutlery in there. Just for goof,
Yeah, that would be funny.
Walk in with one like fucking paper plate in there and just right in the middle and be like, "That's fancy. Oh, I like your fancy china."
Yeah,
honey, should we get out the
Walmart paper plates?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, the people that have the glass cabinets and keep it clean in there, I'm impressed. There's a reason I don't want see-through cabinets. Okay, you don't want to see what's in there. It's clean, but it doesn't look that great.
It's very trendy right now to have no cabinet doors whatsoever, and just like your bowls and stuff are on display.
Yeah, my wife and I watch HGTV together, and that's like, or just no cabinets. That's a huge.
You're one of those couples.
A shelf.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, you get a shelf.
Because it's like we can just talk over it. We just like watch it, and we like to dream about our dream house someday. So we're like, oh, I like that idea. I hate that idea, and then we just talk about our day while the show's on. Absolutely, I'm one of those couples.
I hate those couples.
Well, you can stop hanging out with us then.
You guys are gonna love it or list it, huh?
Absolutely. I don't think I'd want to be on one of the shows. I've heard it's not worth the hassle. Like they barely pay you anything, and it's all fake. Because by the time they like film it, you've already made your decision.
I don't really hate those couples. Just like every time I go over to
don't.
my parents' house, my mom's watching it. And the other day I was doing something with the baby and Aaron was sitting on the couch and I was like, well, I'm going to go do something else. Here's the remote. She's like, oh yeah. Cause I already saw something I want to watch on TV and it's HGTV, love it or list it. I'm like, whatever. I'm glad I'm leaving anyways.
That's what Discovery Plus is for now. Don't have to deal with the commercials, which is going into the HBO Max. I think that's exciting. I like that. Save me some money.
Eh.
Well, I use Discovery Plus, so now I don't have to pay $6 a month for it. It's just going to roll into my $15 a month subscription to HBO Max instead.
I only
Lovely Jen is like, what is going on here? He's right.
Yeah.
We should probably get into the news and stop talking about HGTV.
I only watched Discovery Plus and Deadliest Catches on because I love watching those crabs. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the news. It's did you get a theme song for us yet, Max?
No. No. I know. I'm the worst. But we can get into some geek news.
If I paid you, I'd wonder what I was paying you for. But tonight, lean off geek news, we have a big story that the new upcoming Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and the Evil Dead and the Spider-Man movies director Sam Raimi said that he would jump at the chance to direct a Batman movie. So much so that if he saw the bat signal lit up in the sky, he would come running giddy like a little schoolgirl. Ideas on a Sam Raimi Batman movie.
I mean, he kind of specializes in horror, so I don't know. I think he could do a good job.
Like a scarecrow, like as a villain type thing.
That's a good idea. Yeah, Scarecrow's the villain. Yeah, that could be pretty legit. I mean, because there's tons of creepy Batman villains in the Rogues Gallery.
Well, Sam Raimi's horror always leans a little bit more. You have a little bit. If you're gonna add another ingredient in there, it's always comedy, right? It's always
that's true. Evil Dead, and stuff.
And that type of stuff. So is that like the best mix for a Batman movie? I think he gets genre. I think he does genre very well. I think he would have a take on Batman. Because there's no way he hasn't thought about what his Batman story would be. But it's just, I know I missed your Batman talk and I listened back to when you guys reviewed Batman, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I did see it. And so like, we're talking like atmospheric Batman. Like, I didn't know if you guys like that Batman more than the last Batman. Like you want a little bit more of this, or you want to lean more into this or lean away from that.
I don't want anyone else doing Batman right now but Matt Reeves. He was perfect. But if if in 10 years they wanted to give Sam Raimi or maybe he does like a Justice League Dark movie, I mean, that could maybe be something he could do instead. And Batman could be, part of that. But no, I want Matt Reeves. The atmospheric, the cinematography, the everything. It was one of the best Batman movies, if not the best Batman movie I've ever seen.
I think you're right. I think Sam Raimi could do I would be more excited about him doing a Justice League Dark than a Batman, because Batman is just this weird kind of. It's like Batman is like baking as opposed to like throwing something on the grill. Like it's almost high science. You have to have the right amount of this and the right amount of this. And it's very measured and like, a tablespoon off, a teaspoon off, too much detective, not enough action, or too much Bruce Wayne, not enough Batman. And the whole dish can get thrown off. But I think like there are some superheroes where it's like, yeah, throw it on the grill, whatever comes up is going to be good. This is a horrible analogy. But I think that Sam Raimi with the horror he does well, and then the goofy stuff he brings in there. I just don't know if his sense of humor, if he would try to kind of shoehorn that into a Batman film, and I don't know how that would feel, because I like a brooding Batman.
Your analogy honestly is perfect.
Okay.
And it's kind of funny because I just had an argument with somebody on one of my barbecue pages that I'm on Facebook.
I know you're a barbecue guy. Okay.
Well, yeah, I have a smoker. That's one of my favorite hobbies. Yeah, so like the argument basically was this guy saying that making cookies is easy. And I'm like, okay, I mean, it's not hard to make a cookie that tastes good. I won't disagree with that. But there is like a very particular science to cookies. If you put butter in that's a little too warm, it's gonna mess it up. If you put barely too much sugar, it could really mess it up. You know what? Like the ingredients are very particular.
Mhm.
But if I'm making a brisket, I just throw as much salt and pepper on there as I want, and I cook it until it's done. I've got like an hour window where I can take it off of the smoker, and it's still going to be great. But cookies, you take that out a minute late, it might suck. So your analogy, honestly, is pretty good because Batman like
what if
needs
you're
to
making
be
like a brisket?
a
you know,
what? Like a cookie
like
brisket?
a
Never heard of
like
that.
a Bruce Wayne, like a brisket.
Oh,
Bad.
then there you go. Justice League Dark
Bad.
is a brisket.
I don't know. I mean, he did give us emo Peter Parker, so
Yeah, and that's that goofiness coming in a way that goofiness didn't even work for Spider-Man, which has a good old heap of, to use our cooking analogy, of goofiness in it and silliness, and then he still went too far with it. So it's like, what are you gonna do with Bruce Wayne?
We'll see. I mean, Doctor Strange is looking pretty dark, and that's him. So maybe he can do less goofy stuff. But it is MCU, so I would be pretty surprised if it wasn't still pretty.
Well, I don't want
funny.
Sam Raimi to be anyone but Sam Raimi. I don't want him to feel like he has to change who he is as a director because he's doing a certain property. Like I'd go see a Sam Raimi property where he gets to be Sam Raimi. It's just, is it the right fit for him?
Yeah. So you're saying that you think a Sam Raimi led Batman would be more like Back to the Schumacher stuff?
Yeah.
The like silliness instead of like over.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's not a place for that, and like there might be an audience for that. There might be people who want to see like a little bit more fun in Batman again. I mean, there's lots of different Batmans out there, whether it's animated series or like some of the more kid stuff, or some of the comics play with Batman. Or but I think for that big cinematic punch, I think people are in like a let's keep him on the dark side. Let's keep it very psychological thriller type thing.
Something like Jedi says cookies are hard as fuck to make consistently, period. And Leftovers says unless they're Oreo cookies.
I mean, you're not making those, but yeah.
Rebuttal. So the consensus here is everyone's on board for Matt Reeves. Keep going. Sam Raimi can do something else for a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I would say Batman Beyond. Let him go Batman Beyond, but I don't know. You kind of.
Well, I feel like honestly, anytime there's a major property that comes out, I feel like at some point someone's like, "Well, what if Sam Raimi made the next one?" Whether it's like when Why the Last Man, we were talking about that. When Preacher, they were talking about that. With it feels like Fantastic Four. Like I feel like he's one of like the 5 go-to where people are like, "But wouldn't it be cool if Sam Raimi did?" And Sam Raimi's just like, "Yeah, I'll do it. Shit." Why not?
We have another story like that later on in the show, actually.
Ish said I would definitely love to see a Sam Raimi Batman movie. And he's the movie guy, so I don't know. I'm kind of torn.
Wait, so we gotta take Ish's word for it?
Ish's word is gold, all right? No, I'm kind of torn by it though, because like I would love to see his take on it, to see what he would bring to the table, but because I love Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, and of course the Spider-Man movies, but I think he did Drag Me to Hell too, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, so I would love to see his take on it and a little bit more of a darker Batman, but well, I don't know.
Here's the thing. I guess I wouldn't mind a Sam Raimi Batman movie as long as it didn't get in the way of somebody else coming in. If it's like, okay, we get one more Batman movie in the next 3 years, who's it gonna be? As opposed to like, oh no, we got a couple of Batman movies coming out in the next 3 years. One of them is a Sam Raimi Batman. Does that make sense? It's like, oh, if we're gonna have more Batman and we're just gonna like overload on Batman, I'd like to see a Sam Raimi Batman. But if we did be a little more choosy about our Batman.
Well, I think the Riddler would be a good one because he could use that character to get out that like silliness and still keep it dark and the direction he likes to go, but kind of use the Riddler to do that silliness that he likes to bring to the table. But I mean, what we just saw with Paul Dano's Riddler, I don't know if that's what you want in the Riddler anymore.
I think you're hitting the perfect segue for that other Nicolas Cage story there, Matt.
Yeah.
About like if Sam Raimi were to do a Batman, it would probably include this villain.
Yeah. That's later on down the line, though.
Oh, sorry, but
That's all right. It's all right. We'll say that
while since
segue.
I podcasted, I'm just like, let me take this shit over.
Segue in the middle. But our next story here is another one I think that a lot of people are going to be up in arms about. Will Smith fuels speculation on his son Jaden Smith being the MCU's Miles Morales. He said in an interview, he said, my son is preparing himself physically and mentally to get a place on one of those characters who will make history for the first time in a saga of movies that many already know and ask for. He was one of the names that came up when Miles first came out a long time ago after he did The Karate Kid and The Pursuit of Happiness and things like that. And then ever since then, he's kind of like taken the spiral as far as Hollywood goes with his music career and his overall outlook on and speaking out about his outlook on life and the world being flat and all his crazy. I don't want to say crazy, but crazy.
Flat earther?
I believe so. And crazy like outlooks on life and the way things are done and stuff. But
he's a teenager. He was just
I think now there's a lot of better choices for Miles Morales.
Here's what I think about Jaden Smith playing it. You know, the character Miles Morales was such a cool creation because it was specifically created when they're like, hey, you know, let's have some more representation in Spider-Man. What's the core of Spider-Man, and what if we take that and we change the race of the character and also Miles Morales, like kind of where he comes from and his socioeconomic status and stuff like that. So it's a character that was created for the impact of like, hey, we want lots of people to see more people to see themselves in this character. So when you take a wealthy, born into celebrity, can get the roles a person like Jaden Smith, and you put him into this character of Miles Morales. Now, I'm not really big into like whoever can play the best part, but it does seem for this character in particular, since the bedrock of the character was created to be inclusive and for all kinds of people to see themselves in this role, and then to give it to someone who is kind of born into celebrity Hollywood acting status, and has probably lots of opportunities to do other types of roles, to give him this role of Miles Morales. I feel like a Miles Morales, I want to see them pull someone and bring them up, right? I want them to make. I want the person who plays Miles Morales. I want that to be their star-making role.
I would love that.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree with you. I didn't even think about that though. That's a really good perspective on it. Like
I don't like to think about that as far as casting, as far as what's the actor's background, stuff like that. But for Miles Morales, it just feels like there is this kind of Miles Morales is a vessel to like for openness and getting inclusiveness, and to stick like the go-to like young Hollywood actor in that role seems a little bit too on the nose for a character that is constantly trying to, push boundaries and be more inclusive to all kinds of people in a role, and things like that.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, that's why I'm putting my nomination in for Miles Morales for the next Into the Spider-Verse universe movie.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this kind of screams like Marvel might be trying to hitch their trailer to Will Smith and try to get him to come on board in one way or another. So they could do it by including Jaden and like having Will play the Prowler, even though we already have that with Donald Glover, or having Will Smith play his dad in the movie, or just something along those lines to get both of them in one of those movies together. But I kind of agree. Like I honestly think the kid from Stranger Things would be one of the kids from Stranger Things would be a better choice for Miles than Jaden Smith. I just think that Jaden Smith has a little bit of acting under his belt, but I definitely agree with you. I think that this character, who represents and screams, would be better to do it as a new face with getting new chances. Coming from nothing and now you're here, basically.
Yeah, and also Jaden, I just looked up his age, 23, and as we've seen from things like Stranger Things or Tom Holland's Spider-Man, there is an authenticity for these young superheroes, especially Spider-Man heroes, to get that authentic kind of bewildered sense that it's much easier to give off if you're 15, 16 playing a 13-year-old than you're a 23-year-old who has been living an adult life since you were 9.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Like Sticks Boy just said, certain characters need to stick to what's written. Some can be changed up. Miles needs to be an unknown young man.
Well, and like one of the things, maybe this is me taking it too far, but like Miles is also mixed race. I would love it if they found someone who's also mixed race. Like he has that Hispanic background as well as, the African American background. Like I'd love to bring someone unknown who has that background and can play the part, how it really should be, in my opinion. Because like the Miles Morales video game, one of my favorite things is, he like talks in Spanish to his mom, and like I think it's just so cool. Like it's like you were talking, Travis, all that representation. I love that, and so I want to make sure they stick to that. And Jaden doesn't fit that bill at all to me.
I don't think Jaden's ever been a kid, so how is he gonna play a kid?
Yeah, right.
I mean, he can. He's an actor. I'm not poo-pooing his acting chops or, as a performer. I don't want to go down that road, but it's just like, like in those reaction moments, like, this is a kid. Like, he's a kid.
I forget he acts because he doesn't really anymore.
Yeah, he did a little bit when he was a kid, and then he started his music career. But it's like everyone says, you trust Marvel, you trust the process, you trust what Marvel brings. Is this a Sony choice or is this a Marvel choice? Like, I get, where are we sitting here? I wouldn't be surprised if it's a Sony choice, since Will Smith is got his huge franchise and Bad Boys with Sony. But I stick with Travis, man. Miles has to be unknown. We always say unknown actor, and I think that's where you got to go with Miles. You got to give it to somebody fresh and up and coming. But I should have laid the slides out better, Travis, because you had a huge, awesome segue here. But reverse back to Travis's segue about obscure Batman villains. Nicolas Cage. We talked about him a few weeks ago, and Max and Lance were both like, "Who's Egghead?" Nicolas Cage wants to play Egghead in a Batman movie. Anyone could do it. It would be Nicolas Cage.
There's actually good photos of them both. Like you can even see it even more. Like just like that.
He could definitely do it. Obscure. What would you call him? C-list villain, if that.
Yeah, I mean it's really tough because as we're scrambling for like, hey, what can we go into the Batman archives and bring up? It's just like like Condiment Man and Egghead, all these things there, and especially with things like Peacemaker, where it's these kind of irreverent, off the wall villains. There is no like Wizard Magazine used to have a section in it called Mort of the Month, and it would feature a little article in the magazine, and it would have like a super lame superhero character or villain in there, and it would give their little backstory, and it was always kind of fun seeing like, oh my god, someone actually created this character. Yeah, that's a good one, E-list character. And they're like, oh god, I'm so glad we've gotten over that, or I can't believe someone created that. And now it's like, where is the most obscure character I can bring back, and make like relevant, interesting, which is cool. It's a great exercise for storytellers to do, and we've seen it work really well. And Nicolas Cage, yeah, give him a role. Why not?
Max Bender brings a good one. Peyton Manning would be perfect for Egghead. Have you seen the forehead on that guy? Jeez.
Also, Peyton Manning can act about as well as an egg.
Yeah. But Peyton Manning is.
I mean, fantastic. I think Egghead could be a funny character to bring into like the TV series. I think Nicolas Cage could be funny in the role.
Well, I mean, I believe he started out in the TV show. I think he was in the he started out in the 66 Batman, didn't he?
Yeah, that's from 66 Batman right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean like that's the character's creation.
Yeah. Because I think he was actually created for the show, not in the comics. I'm not sure if he was in the comics first or the TV show. I think he was in the TV show first.
I don't know that.
But
How am I not playing Egghead?
I never thought Max would get good looking, but he even proved me wrong by using props.
Is that my son? He's a prop.
But
I could hear him at the door, like trying to get in. I was like, I'll just let him sit on my lap, and we'll.
I mean, we could be like, we saw the revival of Robert Downey Jr.'s career with Iron Man, and if this new Nicolas Cage movie that's coming out where he plays himself is any indication with the reviews it's getting, he could have a resurgence here soon. So I wouldn't be surprised if he.
Here's the question: would you want if Egghead is like a cameo like role in some Batman property and Nicolas Cage wants to play them? Like, oh, okay. Or are you a big enough Nick Cage fan? If you're like, no, if he's going to play someone, we want him to play someone who could kind of show up again and again.
I kind of think if you're going to get Nick Cage, it's got to be a character that screams Nick Cage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think like you could get. I think he would be a good. Honestly, like, I want to say onomatopoeia, but I think he could even be a really, really good Hush. Given the opportunity,
he did kind of play Batman in Kick-Ass.
Well, yeah, he did. That's true. He did kind of play Batman in Kick-Ass. But I don't know. Like, I would want to give that role to, if he's gonna play. You gotta let him go full Cage, right? You gotta give him a character where he can just go full Cage and over the top and just be completely ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd say
that's why he always said Egghead. He's just like, I just make that character my own. There's no coming into it. It's not like a Joker where it's like, oh, it's been so many great performances, or it's so like a kind of character like Two-Face. It's just like, no one knows this character. This character will become Nick Cage.
Yeah, and I guess the good thing about playing Egghead, like you were just saying, is he's got nothing to live up. He's got one role to live up to. It's not like the Joker where you're like, oh, Heath Ledger, or Jack Nicholson, or
Cesar Romero,
Cesar Romero, or whoever else, Jared Leto, or he doesn't have that long lineage of actors before him to try and live up to. So he can just put his own spin on it and do whatever.
Yeah, it's not like playing Hamlet. It's like playing like Rosencrantz.
Yeah,
it's like, who remembers that role?
But I don't know. I would pay money to see Nick Cage in a Batman movie. There's just something about him. You just want to see how crazy he'll go.
Yeah, it's always a fun time.
Mad Hatter, that's a good one too.
Oh yeah, that might actually suit him better. Even
I like the Mad Hatter. That's a cool character.
Or Calendar Man, which would fit kind of with the theme of the Batman. I mean, there's just so many roles I think you could do in the Batman movie. Hope somebody gets on that real quick. Gets on Adam and him to movies. This was all Max's. What you got on this, Max?
So yeah, Hogwarts Legacy. There was a PlayStation State of Play on Thursday, and during the State of Play, all it was for was to show, I think, like 14, 15 minutes worth of Portkey Games' upcoming game, Hogwarts Legacy. And I've been looking forward to this. I'm a Harry Potter fan, and I've been wanting a good Harry Potter video game. They've really never done one. They've done some like movie ones back in like early 2000s. They were okay, but they weren't great. And this game looks really fun. Like, it's basically an open world Harry Potter game. It's set during the 1800s, so it's not going to have any of that. It's not going to be tied at all to the movies or the books. It's, set 200 years before them. And I think the gameplay looks really fun. You get to do all these cool spells, and the combat looks really cool, and you can make fun potions, and you can you get to fight creatures, and I think you can actually even have pets and fly around on a broom and all this stuff. Like, it looks like a really pretty world, and it looks like a lot of fun. So I'm just excited for the opportunity to play a new game in a universe that's never really had a good game. I know Sticks Boy is saying Lego Harry Potter was good. I'm not into the Lego games, but I'm sure you're right that it was good. But like, this looks
you can create
cool.
Your own character, your own like little wizard.
Yes, you can.
I didn't mean to patronize. Your own little wizard.
No, you're good. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So you're a fifth year at school, and you create your own character. You're a wizard or witch, and you get sorted into houses. And I really hope you get to choose your house, because I want to be a Hufflepuff because that's what I am.
I'm almost positive, Max, you could choose your house. I would say
sure
that
you can.
you could probably even choose like your discipline. Like if you want to be potions,
Probably.
or lotions.
Well, the end of the trailer made it seem like you can choose to be a dark wizard. I'm like, that's cool. I'm game for that. If it's like, Knights of the Old Republic or these BioWare type games that let you choose to be a bad guy, I'm in. That'll make me do it. Play the game at least twice so I can be a good guy one time and a bad guy the other time.
Can I be Eggman?
Eggman? Sure.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, Stumling's saying the broom upgrades are going to be legit. I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
I don't know anything about Harry Potter or care about Harry Potter, so this is lost on me.
I think it's just
dude,
the
it looks
cool
fun,
thing
though.
of like when they put the money to invest into a game that takes you into a very popular fantasy world, like whether it be like a cool Lord of the Rings game or a Harry Potter game, whatever it is, just a sense that you watch these movies and like you go to sleep at night, you're like, oh, everyone's had like a dream where like, oh, I went to Hogwarts or I was in Middle Earth or something like that. And so these games, if they invest the money into them and create use really good engines and maybe bring something new to that engine, it could be like a really cool experience for people who really love that world. I'm with you, Matt. I'm not a huge Harry Potter person. So it wouldn't be a world that like I would be excited to live, but they did it with Spider-Man, being able to swing around New York and go different places and do that. So I could see how Harry Potter fans would be salivating for this.
Yeah, man, you're telling me I get to fly around on a hippogriff? You're telling me I get to, have a broom? And they haven't said if we get to play Quidditch. And if we don't get to play Quidditch, that's a huge missed opportunity. But
Max,
It'll be a DLC.
I know nothing about this game, but I'm gonna tell you right now, for sure you can play Quidditch.
I am
for sure
pretty darn sure as well. I am too, and it's supposed to come out the end of this year. So
Max, I'm pretty sure you could probably there's probably a multiplayer function where you can get online and just play the Quidditch part of the game with other gamers online. Like you would,
maybe
that's what I said. You would think so. If you could build your own Quidditch team.
You would think so, but who knows? I mean, Halo Infinite didn't launch with couch co-op, and it still doesn't have it. Like games launch without stuff all the time. So what I could see happening is that's a feature that they'll come out with a year from now or a year later.
Add on, got it.
Yeah.
Well, it's your cash.
Well, it might be free because they do release free upgrades, but it could also be DLC that you have to pay for.
Not in my Harry Potter world. You're paying cash for that. Listen, pay to play, buddy. Pay to play.
Max Bender. It's cool to like or to not like Potter. Let's not go and cancel each other. I agree.
Yeah, this is where you grab the golden snatch.
The snitch, but yes.
Snitch, whatever.
Fat finger in it over here, Sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm calling you fat. I'm calling you fat, Sticks.
Our next story, Daniel Radcliffe addresses those Wolverine rumors. I was speaking to combo.com saying so many times people come to me and they're like, hey, man, heard about the Wolverine news. That's really cool. I'm like, mate, I don't know anything about it. After casting doubt over the rumors by comparing himself to the iconic Hugh Jackman, Radcliffe stated, prove me wrong, Marvel.
If he had just said, instead of mate, if he had said bub, then they would be like, oh, I see. You sly little devil, you.
There are rumors that Multiverse of Madness, Wolverine makes an appearance, and it's not Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. So
I honestly don't mind this idea.
Me either.
You'd finally have a short Wolverine. He kind of looks the part. What I've heard in the past, his American accent isn't very good, but I'm sure he could get some coaching and get better at that. Plus,
he needs a Canadian accent.
That's true. Sorry, you're right. Canadian accent. That's true.
He could still keep his British accent, and he's British Canadian or French Canadian or whatever he wants to be, whatever version of Canadian he wants to be. You hear him and Taron Egerton or however the hell Lance pronounces his name, Lance's boy toy all the time, and I don't know. I would probably go Radcliffe over those two. But
I think he's a talented actor. I think he's played villains, he's played heroes. I think he's looking for a challenge. I think he doesn't need the money. I think he just likes taking interesting roles.
I love the chat,
I
man.
agree.
Stick Boys thinks it'll be the animated Wolverine. Maybe.
I mean,
that would go against what Max said about like the idea of like maybe his weakest point would be his accent and his voice.
well, I'm just like. So hold on, Daniel Radcliffe will play the animated Wolverine.
No, they're
Or
saying in the Wolverine
Doctor
that's
Strange.
speculated
Oh.
in Doctor Strange might be
Oh.
the
How would you
Wolverine
do
since-
that? I mean, like using the same voice actor and just dub over someone else. Like I don't know how you do.
Well,
that.
I mean, it could just be that they see it could be that they see the animated Wolverine sitting in bed looking at a picture, and like in the picture is the Doctor Strange movie going on behind it or something, you know, or something
Stop
crazy like that. Like,
it.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
like
I
X-Men
it.
97
But if there
Wolverine
was-
is sitting there, you know.
I could see somebody. I mean, I could see them having Wolverine in the 90s animated costume. I could see that, even if like there's no voiced version of the character. That'd be kind of cool. Because we
I
never
hope they-
really got to see Wolverine in any kind of outfit really in the movies.
I hope
They
they keep
teased.
the gag running, and it's Doctor Strange walk through a bar, and Wolverine's sitting at a bar, and he says "fuck off," and he's like, "All right," just like he does in the X-Men movies.
A little callback.
So,
Yeah.
he said, if you read Exiles, there's an animated world, a Wolverine that travels with them. Okay. I still think it'd be weird for for animated characters to show up in the live action movie, but
Yeah, I agree. I
Wolverine on my shoulder. It's the truth. It's actual.
I just think it'd be funny if he's looking at the little picture in bed and it's like the other side is the actual Doctor Strange movie playing out on it.
I would love it if whoever they do get to play Wolverine, if in either a solo movie or an X-Men movie, we get that kind of a scene eventually, or a picture recreating it like they did with the Spider-Man meme, all them all, with them all pointing at each other. Because it's just so satisfying to get that stuff recreated.
Stick says it's madness, I tell you. Yes,
True.
but Daniel Radcliffe. I mean, we're getting so much of that. Like we got Tobey Maguire for months saying I'm not Tobey Maguire. Sorry, Andrew Garfield for months saying I'm not in Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm not in Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm not in Spider-Man No Way Home. Turns out he was. We're getting Ryan Reynolds saying I'm not in Multiverse Madness. I'm not in Multiverse Madness. I'm not in Multiverse Madness. No, you might not be, but Deadpool probably is. And then now Daniel Radcliffe is out here going, nah, that's not me. I feel like when they address these things, when they address the rumors, it's because the rumors are true. It's like when they start addressing them and saying, no, I'm not, and getting the deniability going, usually it's because you're on the right track of, okay, yeah, that's who's going to be showing up.
Because before it used to be like Ewan McGregor would be like, I would love to do it. No one's calling me, but I would love to do it. I'm for it. Like I would be interested in it. It was the sense of like, I'm open to it, but I just haven't gotten any news. That was kind of the way they approached it. And now it's like they're just downright deny it, you know?
Right.
And
then it turns out that you're 100% spot on about it. And they're just trying to keep it under wraps.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like when you address something, when you address the rumor, you're giving it legs instead of just not saying anything at all. Or like you were saying I would love to do it if somebody called me, but you know,
it's so awkward because you're just like, I'm really not like, I'm not like, I'm not Wolverine.
Right. I'm not playing I'm not back at Spider-Man No Way Home. Sure you're not, buddy.
Yeah. And
your mom says we need a Canadian actor for Wolverine, otherwise it won't be a truly authentic experience. And then I had to boycott the whole thing. Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis for Wolverine.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds is Canadian. Can he play two roles in the MCU?
Yeah, I think he's already locked in, bud.
I know. I don't think he'd be good at Wolverine anyway.
No. But I'm just saying, Rick Moranis.
What house do you think that a Wolverine would be in Harry Potter, Max?
Oh,
let's do Logan, not Wolverine. What Logan would be in? He'd be a what?
I think he might be a Slytherin.
A Slytherin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he might be a Slytherin.
It really could go either way with that kid.
I mean, he could be a Gryffindor too, even though he's got a temper on him. He's very brave.
Mm-hmm.
and like he's loyal. Yeah, he might be more of a Gryffindor actually.
Okay.
Not that Slytherins are all evil, but like they're more cunning. And I don't know that Wolverine and Logan is like cunning per se.
More brash, more running into danger before.
Yeah, that's a
before
Gryffindor
fight.
then.
Yeah,
That's a Gryffindor. Yeah.
I don't even know what you got.
I love having
speaking of
Travis
foreign
on.
language to me.
Travis asks such great questions.
Foreign language to me, my friends. Foreign language. Our next story tonight is before. Now, keep in mind, before Michael Keaton played Batman, there was a Batman movie in the works being talked about and pitched, starring Eddie Murphy and Bill Murray, where Eddie Murphy was supposed to play Batman. Let that sink in for a minute. Eddie Murphy and Bill Murray in a Batman movie.
That was a different era when they wanted a different kind of Batman. So I can see why they maybe wanted to do that. I can't see a world today where I would be interested in that. But if you're talking Adam West to then Eddie Murphy, that's not the weirdest transition. So I get it. Honestly, it was probably riskier what they ended up doing, the Michael Keaton, Tim Burton thing.
Right, that was
a
the big
drastic
thing with
change.
that movie because the last on-screen portrayal of Batman was the 60s Batman, and so that's what people expected from their Batman on screen is a little bit of goofiness to it. Yeah,
and that's what he wanted. The producer wanted to do is bring a darker version of Batman to the big screen to kind of be the yin to the yang of the goofy 66 TV show.
Yeah. So is there talk of this happening again?
No, it was just brought up.
Yeah, it's called Sam Raimi directing Batman.
Yeah. But
so who was Bill Murray going to play?
He wanted to play Batman. So they brought up to him, and it was talked about who's going to play Batman. And I guess the conversation went as far as Eddie Murphy saying, "If I'm going to do this, I'm going to play Batman." And it never went any further than that. Bill Murray was asked in an interview if he was going to play Robin, if Bill Murray was Batman, and Bill Murray basically said, or if Bill Murray was going to play Robin, if I'm all over the place, Eddie Murphy was going to be Batman, and Bill Murray said, "I'm not going to play the boy wonder to anybody." So there you go. They were both arguing over being Batman.
Well, I'm glad that didn't work out.
No, he went and did Ghostbusters.
And I love Bill Murray, man. Bill Murray is so good. Well, his older stuff, his new stuff's fine, but the 80s and the early 90s is where the Bill Murray gems lie.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out something that he would be good at with Batman. I'm just having a hard time thinking about what he would excel at. And I kept thinking about like Ghostbusters and kind of like that. He brings it, that kind of street level, sarcastic Bugs Bunny-ish vibe. And I just don't see that having a place in like a huge cinematic big screen Batman. I want to make an argument for him. I can't think of one.
I could see him as like a smaller character that's like meant to be funnier, but Bill Murray, especially back then, he was a bigger actor. He wouldn't want to be just a small character in a movie. I don't know. A lot of these actors have pretty big egos. Hence, Eddie Murphy saying, "I'm not going to do it unless I'm Batman."
I'm not going to just now. Wonder. To be honest with you, this is probably just now coming out because Bill Murray brought it up because he just got the voicemail because apparently he doesn't have like an answering service or an agent or anything like that. Like he does all his own stuff. So they have a phone number they have to call for him. And if he returns your call, then he's interested in doing the movie. So he probably just got the voicemail or just got the
voicemail from
the answering machine. Yeah. The message on the answering machine, I guess you could say, but Bill Murray is the ventriloquist.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see him doing that.
It's the Sam Raimi Batman or Tarantino Star Trek.
Bill Murray as a ventriloquist, I just see him playing like a his Rushmore character would be like that kind of cold, dead, or even like Steve Zissou is his name from Life Aquatic. Like any of those kind of characters from the Wes Anderson films would be a good ventriloquist. This is kind of very stoic character. I agree.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm glad this never happened, honestly.
Mhm.
Yeah, me too.
Max, do you want to do the honors for what we got next, or do you want me to do it?
Sure. I'll do the honors. I'll do the intro anyway.
All right.
All right. We're going to talk about our sponsor. Support for the Absolute Geek Podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trusted Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code AGeekPodcast at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 8 million balls. So I we got the package about a week ago. I think I got mine like Thursday or something. We didn't have time to use all the products and be able to talk about them. But I did have the opportunity to use the products. And I got to tell you, that ball deodorant smells quite nice. And it lasts like all day. It's kind of crazy. Like, it smells good and it lasts a long time.
Well, let me tell you, as a person who, has a fiance who's not afraid to tell you when you get a little hairy down there, Manscaped can really, really, really save you with the ladies when you're, whether you're whacking, I know geeks, we go to cons, all right? People don't always smell the best at cons. So whether you're rocking a full 80s porn bush down there or a little, run landing strip, whatever your grooming needs are, Manscaped has got you covered. The Performance Package 4.0 by Manscaped has arrived, and oh man, is it a game changer. Inside this package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer, like Max said, the ball deodorant and toner, performance boxer briefs, and travel bag to hold all your goodies. I love the smell of the ball deodorant and the toner. It is so nice after you shave your balls and make them all clean. What a great sponsor for this show, right?
I know, right? Yeah. Honestly, I was kind of shocked, dude. Like I was a little nervous to like actually put it on my balls, and it was fine. I was kind of surprised.
Matt mentioned something about the particular demographic of people who might need manscaping some ball deodorant. And in 2014, for my podcast, we were doing a live panel at Comic-Con. So we had to go to like the orientation meeting because we had to do some other stuff with them. So we went to the orientation meeting. It was really fun. They had all the volunteers from Comic-Con going in there, and they had to do a special slide. They're talking to all the people who are like taking your tickets and stuff like that, where they had to spend 10 minutes talking about personal hygiene. Because in the past at cons, they had gotten complaints about the volunteer staff and the hygiene and the smell of the volunteer staff. So there was like a whole 10-minute lecture about you have to shower, you have to put on deodorant, you have to get the nooks, the crannies, you've got to get the creases, and all that stuff. So if you're volunteering at a Comic-Con, get yourself some Manscaped.
And let me tell you, Manscaped has you covered there because yes, boys, your balls do smell, and people in the room can smell them with you. First off, the Lawnmower 4.0. This trimmer, I can tell you, is the future of grooming, and dare I say, the greatest ball trimmer ever. You buy some of those trimmers from Walmart or wherever, and you're nicking yourself and you're bleeding all over, and it looks like a damn murder mystery in your underpants after you're done. Not with the Lawnmower 4.0. It is probably the best nick-resistant product in the game right now. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 is waterproof and also has a 400K LED spotlight. You need no more precision shave, so you can see what you're doing, boys. Because this trimmer is waterproof, you can say goodbye to the mess in the bathroom floor. You thought that was good, but want to take your grooming even further to the next level? The Performance Package 4.0 also includes Weed Whacker, nose, ear, and hair trimmer. I love that product, man, because sometimes that nose hair is a little hard to get, and you get them coming out the side, and they start curling over, and it's a little full unsightly.
I can't tell you how many times Kelsey has told me that my nose hair is too long. So that nose trimmer is definitely Handy.
The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and provides skin-safe technology as well, which helps reduce nicks, tugs, and all those delicate holes. So yeah, it's time to take care of yourself and go to manscaped.com and get 20% off the free shipping with code A right here in the bottom. A Geek Podcast at manscaped.com. That's right. Head over to manscaped.com. Use promo code A Geek Podcast to get 20% off plus free shipping anywhere in the world with that promo code. Again, 20% off, free shipping anywhere in the world at manscaped.com. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tool for the job with Manscaped. Whew. Boys, it's not just for dudes either. Like, this trimmer is honestly an amazing. You could use it for your face. I'd probably clean it after you use it on your balls, but use it on your face. You could get it for any male in your family.
I don't know, man. Balls to mouth might be nice. If that's your kink.
Nicks are bad. Yes, Max Bender. Nicks are very bad.
I tell you this, boys. Women got pubes too.
Yeah.
Might not have seen them in a while, but sometimes they're coming back. All different shapes.
So
you want to go ahead.
One of the funniest things that came in the package, there's like this newspaper thing, and on page 2 it says, "Here's some of the styles you can do." And you open it up, it's absolutely hilarious. They got like clovers. They're saying, "Oh yeah, we'll shave a clover into your freaking pubic hair down there." It's hilarious.
I feel like getting lucky.
I did that yesterday for St. Patrick's Day, boys. A 4-leaf clover with my Manscaped trimmer.
Did you use like a little template, like a little cutout, like a
I
guide?
downloaded it online.
Like the way you do like a pumpkin, like when you're carving a pumpkin.
Yeah, they give you all kinds of like little attachments so you don't have to shave it all off and get it just the perfect length.
Will I get better suction on my scuba mask if I use Manscaped down there?
It sounds like you might.
Nicks are bad. Words thanks above the beans.
Did somebody say Nick? I want to play Manscaped.
But yeah, so go to manscaped.com, use the promo code AGeekPodcast, get yourself 20% off of their package. And I mean, it's like, I was surprised by the quality of it, guys. I wouldn't push any product here that I'm not using myself, and then I would be, it was a piece of junk. No, these are nice. I love the look of the razor. The first thing I did when I opened, I was like, man, this is really good quality. So check it out. If you need to take care of your downstairs as COVID's over and we're all coming back out into the world, going back to cons, don't go back being the guy that smells like balls. Manscaped got you covered for that. So moving on.
Well, I gotta say, guys, I don't think I wanted to stay for the Manscaped read, but I have to go, and I'm so glad I got to hear that.
That's all right.
Thanks for being here, entertaining, and it was great seeing you guys again. And, I'm gonna make some time, and maybe we can do this again soon. Thank you guys so much. Man.
Yeah, thanks, Travis. Have a good one.
Bye.
I'm glad Travis got to stay for the Manscaped. Hope he goes and use that promo code, and then takes care of his package. So maybe next time, when he can give it to his lady friend, and when he sits down on her face, his mustache won't rub off. Because it'll be nice and smooth down there. There won't be so much friction.
Or as Stick says, 20% off their package, so you can shave yours.
There you go. Oh, that's a good one. They should hire you for promo writing, Sticks. Someone says, I volunteer my nuts for the trial. It's been a good year since I've cleaned them up. There you go. Get on that. I bet you it's looking all like 80s porn bush down there. It's a funny story. Like I nicked myself shaving, and I was like, Jesus Christ. Not necessarily my balls, but I did nick myself shaving. I was like, Jesus Christ, I don't understand how they haven't made technology that doesn't nick you no matter where you shave. Your face, your balls with an electric razor. And then along came this, and I was like, yeah, the first thing I did with it was shave my face, and I was like, it's not half bad. So there you go, 80s porn bush with a slice of 90s serial killer, the 2-time.
It rubs the lotion on the skin kind of serial killer. It puts the lotion on the skin.
But yeah, save your nuts from a bloodbath. Go to manscaped.com. Promo code Absolute or Egg Geek Podcast, all capitals, 20% off, free shipping worldwide. Next topic tonight, Mace Windu. I figured you'd be all over this. Mace Windu propositions Bryce Dallas Howard to bring him back into Star Wars. And of course, when I say Mace Windu, I'm talking about Samuel Jackson.
Yes. I saw this news, and I'm just like, it's okay for some characters to stay dead. And Mace Windu is one that I'm okay staying dead. I didn't like Mace Windu very much, and maybe it's Samuel L. Jackson's performance. You know, I love Samuel L. Jackson. He's great as Nick Fury. Excuse me, sorry, but I don't know, man. I mean, in some regards, it'd be cool to see Mace come back because he was an excellent, swordsman, and he could do some good work. But on the other token, he died. Just let him die. I know we didn't see a body, and they say in movies, unless you see a body, they're not dead. And even in some movies, you see a body, they're still not necessarily dead. Yeah, so Mace was never said to be dead, just thrown out a window. The Emperor also was throwing down a shaft, and we all thought he was dead, but I don't know, turns out he was, and that was a clone in Rise of Skywalker. But I don't know. Keep him dead. I don't need Mace to come back. What do you think, Matt?
I don't know. I think Samuel L. Jackson, man. He's a bad motherfucker, and I think if he wants to come back, why not? Like, Star Wars is all about characters coming back. Like, we just watched Boba Fett come back, So this is a franchise, and like you said, the Emperor. So this seems to be a franchise all about coming back. And he said to her, he's like, there's a huge history of people with one hand returning to Star Wars.
That's true.
He said that he was working a movie with Bryce Dallas Howard, and he said, I just did a movie with her, and she directed episodes of Mandalorian. So I was like, you think maybe I can hook a brother up? And he was like, you like me, right? And she's like, I love you. You're amazing. He said, so put me back in there. Put me in, coach. I'm ready. He's like, I'll learn how to fight with a lightsaber left-handed. So,
hey, I'll watch it. Also, come on, Samuel L. Jackson. Come on, buddy.
Can't keep it.
You don't need to fight left-handed. You can get a freaking fake hand. That's what all the other one-handed people in Star Wars do. So you're good.
Stumbling Jedi. Your mom's a Stumbling Jedi. You paint an interesting picture about the 80s porn bush with the 90s serial killer. And he says, hoping you think the same thing when I post the after pictures. You're going to give yourself a little poisonous Ethiopian caterpillar there, Stumbling? Is that what you're going for with that Manscaped?
Well, it's funny. We didn't even mention the whole thing about a month ago. We were talking about dick pics. I mean, Manscaped is a great way to make sure you're groomed up to send the best dick pics you possibly can.
Yes, if you're going to be sending a dick pic, first of all, advice: never send your own.
Never send your own.
Never send your own. Just take one for the team. Your friends won't think anything of you. Go online, search up, from the waist down. Never show your face. You get the little angle. Never send your own. That's all I'm gonna say, boys. That's my first piece of advice. Second, make sure it's well groomed, because nothing's worse than being all hairy and being nice and shaved down with Manscaped. It makes it look bigger, boys. All right, that's what I'm gonna tell you. It makes it look bigger. So there you go. Your wife is gonna be so proud of you, Stumbling. Samuel coming back with an eye patch. Maybe. You never know.
Look, if he comes back, I'll watch it. I'm just okay with some characters staying dead.
Stumbling says, when I send dick pics, it's always I'm trying to, this is so far behind on the dick looks huge when the roots are cleaned up. That's right. Stick Boy says, when I send out dick pics, it's always a pic of Nixon. The chat's screwing me up because it's delayed. Ish was coming on. I just sent him an invite. I don't know what he's doing, but yeah. So you think leave Samuel L. Jackson dead, huh?
Yeah.
Old Mace Windu.
Yeah,
isn't the purple lightsaber considered the strongest lightsaber in Star Wars?
No.
I've never heard that. I thought that was the whole thing, is purple meant power or strength or something. And that's why he wanted to wield a purple lightsaber.
Yeah, there's some theories that it's because purple is a mixture of red and is it blue or something like that? I don't know. It's signifying that he's a gray Jedi. But at the end of the day, it's really just that Jackson wanted a purple lightsaber, and he had name recognition. And he said, "Hey George, can I have a purple lightsaber?" And George was like, "Yeah, sure."
He said, "There's motherfucking snakes on my motherfucking plane, and I'm gonna get a black lightsaber, all right, or a purple lightsaber, all right." And Lucas was like, "Dude, whatever you want, man. Just calm down. There's no need to scream here."
I'm all for new lightsaber colors, though. I've said before, one of my biggest issues with Rise of Skywalker is that Rey gets a yellow lightsaber, and we don't even get to see it, and except for in one tiny little scene. I would
And
have
it
loved to
looks-
see that in action.
And then you get the toy comes out, the Black Series toy, and it looks like a butthole
It's true, it does, but you could shave.
with Manscaped. There you go. Next story is we got our first look at Kamala Khan and Miss Marvel on Disney Plus. There's a lot of people not happy with the Disney Plus reveal on this because they moved away from her origin and gave her a completely different power set, or her way of using her powers in the show. What did you think of the trailer, Max?
I wasn't impressed. I won't say that I'm like super duper familiar with the character. My familiarity is mostly from the Avengers video game that came out like 2 years ago, and I loved her in that. She was the highlight of the whole game. Her personality, her geeking out about meeting the Avengers and stuff was awesome, and I really liked her powers. But I don't feel like she has the same
Max.
powers here.
Yeah.
Like her fist got big at one point, but like aren't her powers usually like elongating? That's like the main thing.
So yeah, she was originally
She's like Mr. Fantastic.
She
in a lot of
has
those.
she has Inhuman lineage, and then when she's hit with Terrigen Mist, it basically activates her abilities, and yeah, she elongates. She can make her extremities long, big, things like that. She doesn't have a power ring that she somehow acquired from Captain Marvel. I'm assuming is what the feel of it is, to do her abilities.
Yeah, like in the trailer, didn't she like block bullets and stuff?
No.
Yeah, it's almost like it feels very much like she's like a Green Lantern almost. It's very much a ripoff of Green Lantern, I feel like.
Yeah, it just felt off to me. No, I wasn't super into it. I'm obviously gonna watch the show still, but I was really bummed. I was looking forward to the show because of how much I liked her in the game, and the trailer didn't give off the best vibes.
You thought that Stick Boy says that's crazy. I thought they were close enough to her origin, but we didn't know how it goes. But I just don't like the power. Like they're not moving forward with the Inhumans, or they're doing something with the Inhumans that they're trying to hide it, and they don't want to bring that aspect to the shows yet. But I would just think you leave the whole fact that she's she's an Inhuman in there and give her that skill set. But I don't know. I don't know if when they bring in Mr. Fantastic, they're like, that's too close, or kind of what they're trying to decide to do with that. But what's going on, Ish?
Am I on? Are we live?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are.
What's going on, guys?
How's it
Hey,
going?
hey.
Just here to bust up the party.
Nah.
I saw Travis leave, so it's like you got to call me off the bench.
Stick says she gets the gauntlet from her grandmother and they open up her powers. Yeah, but it seems like it's coming from the gauntlet. It's not like the Inhuman ability where it's her actual body. It seems like she is making like I said, like Green Lantern, like force projections. What did you watch this trailer, Ish? And what if you did, what do you think?
Actually, I did not. Are you? Is the suggestion that she has like a glove now? That's
so it feels like more like a
versus the
bracelet
Terrigen
or
Mist?
yeah, it feels like more like a bracelet or a power ring that she wears that gives her that ability. When I say like the Green Lantern, where she can like manifest like an astral projection of her fist being bigger or anything like that. It's not actually her actual fist that
So that is
changes
Green
size.
Lantern is a pretty apt comparison. Then
I thought so.
that's interesting. I think you were saying just before I came on that are they going to ignore the whole Inhumans Terrigen?
That's what it feels like,
Background.
because why give her this power ring that does her abilities versus her having the Terrigen Mist, like versus the whole Inhumans aspect of it.
Interesting. Because isn't also the rumor if they're doing the Illuminati and Doctor Strange 2 that we're going to get Black Bolt?
That's what they've been talking about too, but who knows
Which,
what
and the
version of the
actor who
Illuminati.
played Black Bolt in the terrible Inhumans show, but that actor is really hot now because he's playing Captain Pike in Star Trek.
He is really hot.
So to bring him,
Here's your mom.
They hear your mom in the background. He is,
No,
really
and
hot.
that's what
Anson Mount, he's a good actor.
Anson Mount's appeal right now is like peaking big. So to bring him back as Black Bolt would almost be a pretty cool thing for the MCU to do.
Yeah, but is it going to be? But I've heard Vin Diesel's attached. If Black Bolt comes to the big screen, it's Vin Diesel's go.
Interesting. Well, which is weird because they already have Anson Mount. So
yeah,
In the multiverse.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what version of the Illuminati we get. If it's going to be more comic book accurate or not. I want to see if we get a fantastic. What version of Reed Richards are we going to get?
yeah,
Are we getting the old Fantastic Four movies Reed Richards, or are we going to get the new Fantastic Four reboot Reed Richards in what's his face and Miles Teller, or are we going to get a new Reed Richards?
I forgot about that.
with
I
John
wouldn't
Krasinski, right? Because that's
that's the hope. Yeah, that's the hope. I didn't even think about the Miles Teller thing. I wouldn't be against him being a Doctor Strange.
I thought he
with a
was
little cameo.
well cast. He was well cast in a terrible movie.
That movie was bad.
It was
I am
bad, but
pretty
I could
forgiving.
totally see him do a Reed Richards in a good movie. The same way with
yeah.
the previous Reed Richards, fantastic actor, Johan Gruffudd, but then they made him all super goofy Reed Richards, and that ruined the movie.
Yeah.
You want to see
Anyways.
Miles Teller in another as Reed Richards again?
If it's a good FF movie, I would not be against that.
I don't want to see it, but I
I'm a
don't
big
think you're
FF guy.
wrong. I don't think that he would be a bad Reed Richards, but I'd rather see John Krasinski or somebody else
Sure.
personally.
I like
Yeah.
it with Krasinski and Blunt as Sue Storm, but I think that's definitely not happening.
Well, if
You
you've heard,
don't think Emily Blunt will be Sue Storm?
No, because she's already been cast as another Marvel character in a future
Has she?
project. Yeah, so that kind of took her off the Sue Storm list. Unless
They haven't
that's
said
just like,
Unless they-
that's
but they
some
haven't
sort
said
of,
who yet, though, right?
diversion or some sort of canard to throw us off the scent. Yeah,
They haven't said who though yet, right? Who she's playing.
either they did, and I forgot because I'm old and dumb. But
So technically, FF is a future Marvel project because you haven't seen anything about it yet.
well, we already know that Mark Webb is directing it. So it's happening.
Yeah, no. I know that it's happening. I'm just saying, like, we haven't seen it. We haven't heard any other casting about it. We just know that Mark.
No,
Webb
we know
is
nothing.
directing
All we
it.
know is who's directing it. That's it. Yeah.
But you know that she's had conversations with Marvel, and she's been tied to a future Marvel project, and so is John Krasinski. So who knows what we're getting? I'd love to see them, as long as it's not Jessica Alba again. I'm okay with that. Jessica Alba's hot, but I don't know if I want her to see Storm again.
Again, I didn't mind her as Sue Storm.
You want the same dude to play Silver Surfer too?
The what?
You want the same guy to play the Silver Surfer too?
The Lawrence Fishburne?
Yeah. Bring me Galactus as a giant gas cloud again too. Why not? Just
That's
give it all
I
to
made
me.
that argument before with those FF movies. The casting, I didn't think was ever the problem. I think casting was probably the strong suits of those movies. The rest of those, and the rest is a disaster. But Michael Chiklis is the thing. I don't know how that'll ever be topped.
He was a good thing. I will give you that. He was a good thing.
yeah, I thought the casting was fine. You know, it's funny. I've actually never seen the Silver Surfer movie. It's like,
You're probably doing yourself a great justice there.
No,
Yeah.
check it out. It's worth
No.
seeing once.
I've seen the original one several times, but like I went on my mission for my church in 2007, like right before it came out. And so I didn't watch any movies when I was gone for 2 years, and I just came back, heard it sucked, and just never watched it. Because I definitely would have watched it like in theaters had I not been on my mission. But it's just one of those movies. That and Green Lantern are like two of the, and Catwoman. Those are like 3 superhero movies I haven't seen.
Green Lantern, the way I watch it is I fast forward through any scene that involves planet Earth or his girlfriend. And then it's a really pretty fucking cool movie. Basically, you just watch the scenes in Oa in space. And it's actually a rad
I've
movie.
heard Mark
When they come to
Strong's good.
Earth and they do the human stuff, it's terrible. Yeah, Mark Strong is amazing as Sinestro. That's one
Yeah,
too. That
I agree.
Just
That's like-
just missed the mark, and they did so much of that movie was done right, and then the things that were done wrong seemed to just overwhelm it.
The old FF movie would be great to watch with kids.
Yeah, because they're cheesy. They're kind of, and you look back now,
Oh, they're really
the
cheesy.
kind of funnier, more family friendly tone.
But is it safe to say we haven't gotten a good Doctor Doom yet? The 2 times we've seen Doc Doom.
The
I don't
second
think
one
we've
was
done it
the second
enough.
one was yeah, it was
It was atrocious.
an aberration. He was a blogger and his handle was Doom. Like
Yeah.
it was vomit.
Well, and he was only in the movie as Doom for like the last 10 minutes of
Yeah.
that. It was so bad, dude. I'm pretty forgiving. People give me a hard time. They're like, you like movies that most people don't, which is true. But I
Justice
walked
League.
Hey,
Ju-
I
Justice League,
upvoted
Batman v
Batman and
Superman.
Robin in that one episode a couple.
But
weeks
I
ago.
walked out of that Fantastic Four movie and I was like, that was hot garbage. That was terrible. So even I, one of the more forgiving people out there, acknowledge that was bad.
I guess I'm just such a big FF fanboy because I've actually seen when Stan Lee died. You can ask my wife, and Stan Lee passed away. I watched those movies kind of on a loop for several days.
I want to rewatch that one. From when did that come out? It was like 2015, the Fantastic Four one. I want to rewatch it just because I like watching superhero movies, but it wasn't good.
Well, if you haven't seen the second one, it's at least watch it once in your life. You know.
No,
who
I
knows?
know I
You
need
might
to.
enjoy it. There's
2000
a scene where Reed Richards dances, and it is literally like it is worse than the Tobey Maguire dance scene in Spider-Man 3.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah,
I
it
literally
is bad.
fast forward through that stuff.
And I wish, you just fast forward, just pretend that scene does not exist in your mind.
So the Fantastic Four, with
I
Chris
was talking
Evans
I was talking
as-
the reboot because
Yeah.
the first one was like 2002 or
Oh, you're
3.
talking about the reboot. Okay.
Yeah, the
So,
reboot was
yeah.
like 2015.
Yes, it was. Silver Surfer was 2007,
That's
and the
right.
original was 2005.
Your mom is roasting you in the chat ish. That's funny. She says it was more like several weeks, several
I know,
weeks of you
no.
watching those movies on a loop.
Hey, look, everyone, when your comic book icon dies, everyone grieved him in a different way.
Yes.
But I don't blame you, Ish.
Well, I hope that they get a good Fantastic Four on screen for you in the future.
I'm
Ish.
nervous. I am so nervous about what they would do. Especially if the introduction to the MCU is through some wacky way, multiverse way, Illuminate. You know what I mean? Not your traditional. They might go, okay, we're not going to do the same origin story again. But me, I'd like, well, at least do it properly once. But
like the go to space thing.
go to space, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? In the first FF movie, I didn't even mind that the integrate instead of being Doom, because Doom makes a deal with the devil to save his mom, and he learns black magic. But in that movie, they send him up with the FF, and so he gets hit by the gamma rays too, and thus has kind of a transformation to gain his powers. And I was okay with that.
Well, you got to think
I
that
just-
we're gonna get
Go ahead.
Doc Doom soon because they're bringing in Kang the Conqueror, and Doc Doom and Kang the Conqueror
Yeah.
have a very connected relationship, I guess you could say. So you would think hopefully we're gonna get Doc Doom soon if we're getting Kang the
And
Conqueror.
then Doom and FF. I mean, that goes hand
Yeah.
in hand.
Yeah, and Doom isn't just like a Fantastic Four villain. He's just a great like Marvel villain. Like he's someone that needs to be in more than just one movie as
He's a
threat.
great villain all time in pop culture. I mean,
Yeah,
Darth
absolutely.
Vader it's basically a ripoff of Doctor Doom in many ways.
Stick
And
Boy
George Lucas will even say that.
wants to know if you watched the Roger Corman one from the 90s.
No, but I got
no.
there's a great documentary about it. I got it on Blu-ray called Doomed, and it shows quite a bit of that movie. So we watched that. But actually getting a copy of that FF movie is pretty hard to get.
It'd
I
be
had
sweet.
not even
Are
heard
aware
of
of what
that.
we're talking about.
It would be sweet
back-
if they reference that stuff in the Multiverse of Madness, like those old 80s.
Oh
90s.
man, if they reference the Roger Corman one, that would be nerdgasm to the squirt all over the screen. 'Cause that's like the ultimate deep cut if they pull that one out of their butts. Because that movie was literally made to never be seen by anyone. It was made just to keep a license for another 10 years.
It'd be sweet to see the old school Thor and Lou Ferrigno come back as the Hulk.
Yes.
It was seriously
Spider-Man.
only made to just keep the license. They didn't even. Wow, that's crazy.
Correct. Yeah. And they hired Roger Corman to make it.
Sick
Because
Voices
FF was
on
owned by
YouTube.
this German investment group for many decades.
Huh.
Sick Boy said it's on YouTube, so you can check it out.
Well, I'm on Daily Motion right now. The whole movie's on here if I want to watch
Oh,
it.
it's on. Well, I guess everything's on YouTube by now. I never thought of looking that up. You know, it's funny. I know people like crazy comic book fans, and they'll swear that movie is the ultimate version. Like, as cheesy and terrible as it is, that's the real one.
Until
Oh
Marvel
my
comes along
goodness.
and redoes it.
Oh man. Okay, hold on. I'm sharing my screen really quick
Good.
because the thing. This is just hideous in this version. Come on, where? Oh, that's on me. Okay, let me fix this. Okay.
Today,
Oh, that's
Junior.
what I know, right? I know. Chrome. All right. So here we go. That is the thing. Ugh.
Dude, that's perfection.
I mean, for 1994, I guess it's not terrible.
You know, that's
That's
still better than the
perfection.
2015 one, which literally looked like a pile of poo. With a
But you
pair
can
of
just
eyes.
see that, like, that's like a mask. Like his eyes are so sunken in like that.
Yeah.
Man alive, this is really low quality. That's kind of fun. I had no idea this existed.
Max has weekend plans.
I do? Oh,
Yeah, you're gonna watch that
Gonna
movie
watch
now,
it?
huh?
yeah, maybe.
Max, did you start? I'm referencing back a couple episodes ago when
No,
I came on and ranted about Star Trek, and you said you were
I
going to
did
check out
not.
Discovery. Okay. Just wondering.
not yet. I'm not against it. I just haven't.
Well, if you do, we could talk about it.
Absolutely.
Because you know I like to talk about Star Trek.
I've never gotten that vibe from you. I didn't get invited to a Star Trek group on Facebook by you or anything.
Oh, okay.
No, I see you posting there.
Well, I mean, why don't you tell us what's new in the world of Trek then?
Actually, my shame is that I'm a little bit behind. So season 4, I think the finale was yesterday, and I'm still in season 2. But that's
Oh,
because
wow. Yeah.
But it's a long story. Why? But I'm very behind on everything. I don't get a lot of time, honestly, to watch shows, and so that's why I'm always behind on comic books. You know, toilet time is let's get most of my comic book reading done.
That's
I get it,
The
dude.
greatest
That's-
things in the world come out. You know, I swear that some of the world's greatest inventions were probably invented while you were just sitting there on the toilet.
Probably.
That's where you do
You're
your
probably
best thinking, man.
you're not wrong. Well, like, dude, I've been in the same boat lately ish. I just that's why I haven't started it yet. Man, I'm getting Lance camera action here today.
And also, I have a big gripe with the streaming, Paramount Plus streaming. I don't like it, so I had to get the Blu-rays, and it's like entirely different. Oh my god, on Blu-rays, Star Trek Discovery looks unreal, like the best Hollywood looking shit you can imagine. Watching it on streaming, you got none of that came through.
just really compressed or something. Just
Yeah,
the
and
images
they know, like, you know, they're so behind on the audio tech. It was 2-channel stereo for like the first 2 years of Paramount Plus when it was CBS All Access. Yes, I like talking about Star Trek. So
No,
I know
I just,
Picard season 2 started already, so I'm totally avoiding the spoilers. I got the season 1 Blu-ray being shipped right now. So
oh, you haven't seen Picard season 1 either?
I watched them stream, but I got to rewatch it before.
Oh, okay,
I got to
okay.
watch it on Blu-ray before I watch season 2. I'm very OCD and weird about these kind of things, so I fall behind very fast.
I'm not as OCD about like needing to own, like, I don't own like any TV shows on physical media just because it's too expensive. But movies I like to own physically. But I haven't watched Picard, but I've heard it's really good, and in fact, I might start with that instead of Star Trek Discovery. Or what would you recommend? Tell me, should I watch Picard first or Star Trek Discovery?
You could watch either because they're kind of, as of right now, they're unrelated, right? Picard season 1 is really the continuation of, I guess, what many years after Star Trek Nemesis, if you've seen that movie, which was the last time we saw the Next Gen crew. So it's in the main prime Star Trek timeline. Picard is literally the most current in the timeline,
and
whereas
Discovery meant to be its own thing.
Yeah, Discovery takes place like season 1 takes place 10 years before Captain Kirk.
Oh, so it's still in the main timeline. It's just
correct. It's just in a totally earlier era.
Okay. Well, I'll get on it. I've heard good things about both, and I don't dislike Star Trek.
If you've watched Next Generation, then yeah, you'll love Picard.
Yeah, I've watched a good amount of Next Generation. It's been a long time. I mean, I watched it when it was live on TV in like the 90s. But I do want to say one thing that I've been struggling to get through as well as Wheel of Time. But today I was reading more. I'm on the 5th book, and like the last 100 pages of that book is freaking fire. In fact, after the show tonight, I might just stay up and just read the rest of the book.
Nice.
If you guys like reading, Wheel of Time is it's pretty good. It's just it drags at times.
8 books.
You hate reading what?
No, I'm impressed. I don't hear it too often that people are like, yeah, they're reading still these big, epic, awesome books.
Yeah, I listen more than I read, but I like to have the Kindle version and then I add the audio so that if I can't, like I probably read, I don't know, I probably read on my phone for like 30 minutes today and then listened for like 2 hours. And I'm getting close. I think I've got like 50 pages left. So
are you the show? Sorry.
No, go ahead. I apologize.
I watched the show. It's what got me to read the books.
Yeah, okay. Most fans of the books I know aren't too. They think the show is kind of not too great.
So when I started the show, I was like, "Ooh, this is." Well, I thought it was really boring the first 2 episodes, because I started reading the books like 10 years ago. I read the first 150 pages of the first book, and I was like, it took 150 pages for anything to happen, and I was like, I'm not interested in reading 14 books. I mean, they weren't all done when I first started reading it, but I think there were like 11 of them already done. And I was just like, no, thank you. I do not want to read something this long when nothing happens. And then the show came out. The first 2 episodes, I was bored. The 3rd episode I liked. The 4th episode was awesome, which is ironic because the 4th episode is like nowhere in the books. None of that happens. Like literally none of it. But that's what got me to read the book. And then I loved it and I've been reading the other books. And so I don't hate the show. Obviously, it's got some value. It got me interested in reading again. I haven't really read many books lately. So I appreciate it for that, but it is really different than the series and in a bad way. But if you don't read the books, I think it's good.
So Ish, are you looking forward to the Strange New World Star Trek show?
Yes, very much.
What do you think about the recast of a young Kirk?
That I just saw that yesterday, and I'm not familiar with that actor. I think Max.
Vampire Diaries, I think.
Yes, Max familiar with him. I have no idea who he is. I don't know. I feel that he's now the 3rd Kirk, and maybe I would prefer if they ignore the other Kirks. If this guy just plays the Kirk that's on the script he's given, instead of going like, oh man, do I have to be Chris Pine trying to be William Shatner? Or should I just try to be William Shatner? Maybe it's best we just divest ourselves of all that and just let this guy be whatever Kirk he feels comes off the page in the script, and which puts a lot of onus on the script to be super good, but it should be that way anyways, I guess.
Yeah.
But back to your book, Max, or back to the Wheel of Time. You have exciting news about your book, don't you? Since Ish was asking about it last week.
Oh yeah, I wrote another chapter this week. Yeah, that's it. I'm 13 chapters down of 29, so still got a long way to go.
What if we did a show where you read it to us, like we did, like live Audible?
I don't think you'd want to hear me read the entire book, but I could read an excerpt. Sure, I'm down to do that.
No, we start with the first sentence. We just go.
Just gotta give him a little taste. Let him wet his whistle.
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
You know, you guys remember that comedian Andy Kaufman? Jim Carrey played him in a movie.
Yep.
and he would do a stand-up routine where he literally would just sit there and read a novel and not do anything else the entire show, just read the novel from first page to last page.
Yeah, that was one of his biggest skits.
Yeah. That's great.
He did it here in Arizona. Was it here in Arizona he did it? I can't
Was
remember
it
which college-
as like
I can't
depicted in
remember
the
which college
movie?
it was he did it.
Yeah, maybe it was ASU.
All right. Do you want me to read the first paragraph?
Sure.
All right. I'll read the first paragraph of Ungar's Hero is the name of the book. All right. No light came into Liamon's eyes. The world was enshrouded in darkness around him. He couldn't feel his legs, and the world seemed to spin. A laugh penetrated his ears in the dense forest that surrounded him. It seemed more like a shrill hiss than a laugh. A shiver shot down his spine. He stumbled forward, weakly yelling, "Is anyone there?" No response. There you go. First paragraph of the book.
All right.
Ooh.
You throw
Oh
the
my
reader
God.
right into
A
a
live
scenario.
action Belgariad. Yes, I would love a live action
Yes.
Belgariad. That is my favorite book series. The Belgariad and the Malorian.
Are you serious,
Oh,
Max?
so good. I am serious.
You may have just become my best friend.
Dude, the
I
Belgariad.
read those books. I read those series multiple times.
Yeah, dude, Garion. Or Belgarian as he becomes later.
Yes.
So good, dude. So freaking good. Yes,
Matt, do you
I've
have any
read
idea what we're talking about?
I've read
No
those
idea.
books twice through, so probably not as many times as you, but I've read all 10 books twice. David Eddings is my favorite author, dude. He's so good. I don't
Have
know
you
if
read any
his
of his
other
like
stuff.
non-fantasy stuff?
I don't think I've read any of the non-fantasy. I read like 2 other series about another character that I cannot think of the name of now, but it's still fantasy. But it's not
That was one of
related
my
to the Bulgarian.
Still, it's now a pipe dream, but that was one of my dreams, was to be able to somehow adapt that series.
Oh man,
I
I
always
would love
wanted to
that.
write a
I think
screenplay of it.
I think I'd rather see the Bulgaria done in 5 movies, but it could probably be good with like a high budget TV series as well. I'm totally down for that.
I mean, the third book, most of that book is just them walking through those crystal caves and stuff.
I'm having a hard time remembering like what happens in each book. I just know that it's a great story and they're not long. Like my wife and I are currently reading a series that she's really wanted me to read, and we're going really slow. We haven't read our book in like a month now, but I told her as soon as we're done with that series, she has to read the Bulgarian with me. That's literally, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I devoted quite a bit of my childhood to Tolkien and reading all the Tolkien over and over. And once I kind of maxed out on that and I just needed something else, actually I remember kind of choosing, do I do the Wheel of Time series or do the David Eddings? And I chose the David Eddings.
I think you made the right choice. It's a lot easier to
and
get
I
through.
felt, and I was like, as big as Lord of the Rings fan I was like, this is equally amazing.
I love it. It's so good. And have you read the Inheritance series? The Christopher Paolini Aragon stuff?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay. Well, he rips a lot of stuff from David Eddings, whether on purpose or not, I don't know, but like how I can't think of the name. Aragon, that's the name of the main character. How Aragon uses magic in those books is very similar to how they use it in the Belgariad, where it's like you have to pull magic from like the life around you, and if you lift a rock with magic, it's basically the same as if you would have lifted it without magic, and unless you pull energy from living organisms around you and stuff. And it's fascinating. Yeah. I'm like stoked to talk to someone else who reads these books.
I feel that those
besides
books
my brother and I,
are
no one I've talked
completely
to.
forgotten. They're actually really hard to find. You can only get them in these 2-volume collected editions in a kind of a larger format. So you can't actually buy each book anymore.
Oh, really?
And there's like no merch. Like we got a T-shirt, and it's like kind of random. Like you wouldn't even like. I think it's a Garian T-shirt, but I don't know. It's
a fan art t-shirt.
Yeah, it's a fan art T-shirt.
Okay.
So it's like, I've always like, where are all the David Eddings fans? Because back in the day, it was a big seller.
Yeah, it was. It's not as
for
popular
Del Rey
anymore.
Publishing, but
I think you'll probably get like the Stormlight Archives. Why am I forgetting the name of the author? But he's alive still. Like the guy who finished the Wheel of Time.
see, that's like a
You're
property
probably gonna
that
get
might
his
be
stuff
like
adapted first.
dirt cheap to buy the license for or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
probably.
then develop it, because I think the content is so rich that you put it in the right hands, it would be an amazing series.
Absolutely. Okay, the Elenium and the Tamulai. Those are the other series I read. They're
Okay.
about the Pandian Knight Sparhawk. They were really good. And then
Actually,
I
I have heard of
also
those. Yeah.
I also read, where is it? The Redemption of Althalus. That one was really good too. I've read most of his books. Looking through his books here, actually, the Belgariad, the Malorian. I read that. I think I read all of the books related to the Belgariad. Maybe not the Riven Codex, but the Elenium, the Tamilai. I haven't read the Dreamer series, but I own all of them.
There's
My brother
Balgarath
said
the
they suck.
Magician.
Yeah, I read
the
that one. I read
Polgara
Polgara
book
the
too.
Sorceress. Yep, I read that one. And then, yeah, I guess there are 3 non-fantasy that I haven't read. High Hunt, The Losers, and Regina's Song. I didn't read any of those.
Losers is a weird one.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look at some of this fan art stuff then. Your mom, she's saying that there's some good fan art T-shirts out there. Now I feel like
read the Yas series, The Ranger's Apprentice.
I've heard of that
Young
one.
Okay,
adult
stick with.
series.
Yeah, it's just been a bummer. Like
Gotcha.
for fantasy fans like me, like I love the Sword of Shannara or Shannara, however you say it.
Yeah.
But the
Shannara.
series they did on MTV wasn't
It's
good.
garbage. Oh, that was so hot.
It was garbage. Wheel of Time has been a bit of a disappointment. It's just like Aragon, the movie was bad. It's like other than the Lord of the Rings movies, there hasn't been, and Game of Thrones, except for season like 8, was pretty good.
Oh
But,
man,
like, fantasy hasn't
Aragon.
been done well.
I almost worked on that movie. I have a little side
did you?
story. I was hired to be, well, I wasn't hired because unfortunately I had to decline it, but I was offered to be John Malkovich's like chauffeur and like because they filmed it in Hungary and I was living in Hungary at the time. So I would have been like his
Okay.
American guy who also spoke Hungarian.
Oh,
But I ended up not being able to take the job. But
that would have been
I
a
see
cool
the
story
movie,
had you
I was-
taken it.
Perhaps, yeah.
Yeah, maybe your life wouldn't have turned out
That'd
the
have
way.
been dope. You would have literally been John Malkovich.
Yes. I could have gone through that little portal.
Speaking of, he was an absolutely horrible casting for that character. But there were a lot of things that were wrong in that.
Yeah, that movie bombed pretty hard.
Isn't Disney Plus making it? No, that's Percy Jackson they're remaking, right?
Yes.
I thought
They're
they were
remaking
making
or doing another sequel.
Well, they're doing. I think they're remaking Percy Jackson.
Hmm.
I thought it was Aragon, but it just popped in my head. It's like, no, it's Percy Jackson, you idiot. So
Yeah, you're right. I hope Aragon gets another shot though. It's a good story.
I've never read anything.
Yeah, I feel like fantasy
I never
kind of
learned
had
how to read.
a rebirth, a renaissance in the 80s. And then by the late 90s was kind of
Yeah, it's just
again.
sci-fi is more popular when it comes down to it. Fantasy, there's still there's interest in it. But honestly, fantasy I think gets more love in video games. Like you can find some good stuff fantasy.
absolutely, yeah.
Gaming. Skyrim and Fable.
Dragon Age and
Age, yep.
Fable. And
That's probably what I'm missing out on.
Yeah, if you like fantasy, video games is a good place to get it.
Skyrim and
Yep.
all the Morrowind games.
Absolutely. Those are great.
GTA.
GTA. I don't know about that. I actually thought it would be fun. Or The Witcher. Why didn't I think of that one? The Witcher's awesome. And that show's good. So there you go. That's another fantasy series that actually is good. The Witcher's fantastic.
But kind of steering the ship back on
sorry.
the topic here. So
Miss
we were talking
Marvel.
about Camilla Khan and the Marvels, or Miss Marvel, or whatever you want to call it, Marvel show coming out. So here's the schedule for Disney Plus: Moon Knight, March 30th, 2022. Miss Marvel, June 8th, 2022. She-Hulk, mid 2022. Secret Invasion, late 2022. What If Season 2 sometime this year. Ironheart, to be determined. Armored War, still to be determined. Wakanda, entitled Wakanda series, still to be determined. Loki Season 2, to be determined. Echo, to be determined. Agatha, House of Harkness, to be determined. Spider-Man Freshman Year, to be determined. And Marvel Zombies, to be determined. So it looks like we're only going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Marvel shows this year, if that.
Only.
What If doesn't get
only has
pushed.
to be only like that sounds
That's a lot. Yeah.
And some big ones too. I think She-Hulk
Yeah.
will be big along with Moon Knight.
Throwing a little Star Wars in there too with Mandalorian Season 3.
Yeah.
Which I guess the
Obi-Wan.
ending has already been spoiled, and I didn't
Oh,
include it
don't
in
you
here because
dare.
I don't want to ruin it for people.
Yeah,
but
thank you.
apparently the ending for Mandalorian is season 3 has already been leaked.
Oh, that's frustrating.
And then
One of the greatest things that's ever happened in like pop
And is
culture
it
was
something
the
big?
Luke.
Don't say what it is, but is it
Yeah,
something
don't.
big?
Potentially.
The
Okay.
Luke reveal at the end of season 2 was one of the greatest things that's ever happened in pop culture, in my opinion. So I would be so mad if there's something cool at the end of season 3 that gets ruined for me. Because are they even done filming it? Man-
No, the script has been written.
Oh, so it could still
But-
change.
They're gonna have to change it, I think, because of
Well, I don't want to know.
Yeah,
I think this year's exciting though in Marvel, and obviously Star Wars too. We got the Obi-Wan show and Mandalorian season 3, and I think Bad Batch season 2 probably is going to come out this year.
Stick Boy says, I thought I heard that the Wakanda series is being based on the Dora Milaje. I think that is. I think you are correct, sir.
But
What were
dude,
you saying, Max?
I was just going to say I think it's an exciting year. I mean, 5 shows in 1 year. Plus, didn't well, when did Hawkeye end? Was that early this year or was that late last year?
That was.
I think it ended in December of last year.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, it went through the
'cause
new
it-
year,
yeah.
didn't it? It went to January at least.
I don't think it did. Now that I'm saying that, because I thought the show ended on Christmas. And that was
No,
kind
you're
of the
right. It
point.
didn't because Mando season 3 or not Mando season 3,
Boba
sorry.
Fett came
Book
out
of
the
Boba
last week of
Fett
the year.
started.
Yeah.
New Year's.
So, I mean,
Eve, or
So
the
between
30th
those
or something like that?
two, so between Marvel and Star Wars, that's 8, potentially 9 shows in 1 year. That's pretty darn good. That's a lot of content. I mean, Secret Invasion, isn't that kind of what they've been alluding to with Nick Fury?
Yeah, and the
So-
scrolls and
Yeah, the scrolls and everything. So I think that's going to be huge because they've been kind of teasing that for a while.
it's gonna keep the lights on over at Disney Plus.
Of this entire list, though, I'm probably most excited for Loki season 2.
And we're going to get the first Netflix crossover in She-Hulk with Jessica Jones appearing.
Is that confirmed or is that just a rumor?
I believe that's confirmed.
I hope that's
Yeah, I've
the
heard a lot
case.
about that. And apparently, from what I read today, they're moving forward with the Daredevil reboot, and that's already going to start production soon. So
He said it's a soft reboot.
yeah, so it
So
looks
so
like
kind of
Daryl's
would
getting-
be season 4, but just the new Disneyfied version.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was right. Sticks Mandalorian season 3. See, because I don't want to. I refuse to call it Book of Boba Fett because he wasn't in half of his own series. So
So then what's coming out later this year? Just part 2 of season 3 of Mando?
yeah, pretty
All
much. The part 2.
I literally,
Mando season 3, part 2.
I had a gift card to Best Buy and I went out and got a new sound bar for my office and hooked it up today. And one of the things I put on was the Book of Boba Fett episodes with Luke and Grogu and Mando and my son loved it. He was just like, every time Grogu came on screen, he was like, like so excited. Star Wars is just life. It's so good.
Yeah.
Except when it's not.
Except like most.
We've
A
got a good
handful
crew
of
here.
Star
We've got a
Wars, yeah.
Trekkie, we've got a Star Wars guy, and we've got Matt who's just like, whatever. They're both fine.
Look, you teach their own. Like I'm not gonna. I
I
don't.
love it all.
I can't sit here and go, no, the Trek is better. No, the wars are better. No Trek, no wars, no Trek, no wars.
I like.
I
it
really
all
haven't
too,
watched Star
but
Trek.
I do
I've
have a
watched
preference.
Star Wars, but I'm not a huge I don't get a hard on for Star Wars. I'm not like you or Marco over at Renovision. I don't get a giant hard on for Star Wars where it consumes my life.
Yeah,
I never saw
I do.
another Star Wars property in my life. I could be just fine with it.
Nope. I will take all the Star Wars, all of it.
I turn myself towards things like Avatar: The Last Airbender or other properties like that. I just never gravitated. I liked Star Wars, but I never gravitated to where I was like, Star Wars is where I'm going to live my life. There's more things out there than just Star Wars, Max. It's okay.
Fake news.
Show me where the galaxy touched you on this doll, Max. But all right, moving on. Amazon Prime in big news, buying MGM for big money, big money, and it's a little surprising to me this move. $8.5 billion.
You know, kind of what they felt was the crown jewel of their acquisition was 25 James Bond movies they now own.
Is that what it was?
That's a big
That
part
the draw
of it.
from it?
Yeah.
Well, it's like I know they've been
So you won't be
trying.
able to see Bond anywhere else now except on Prime Video. And
Well, they've
even,
been trying
I
to-
believe now you still have to rent it. It's not for free.
Because I know they've been trying to break into the movies for a long time. Like they were putting out like a lot of movies in theaters, and then you had to watch them. You know, you could come watch them on Amazon first. Like the Big Sick by Kamil Najimy was one of those. They were putting out movies, but they didn't have a movie studio. And now owning
Well, it's really
MGM, they have
and their archives, so they own all the MGM movies.
and
the big hitters at MGM have been the James Bond movies.
And Stick Boy says, I love this new Stargate, get a reboot, and I'm all for it.
Stargate, huh? Actually, there is a Stargate series in the talks. I didn't realize.
So I wonder
that
if they're
was
going to
an
still
MGM
go.
property.
If they're still going to go by MGM, or if it's going to be like Amazon MGM now, or what they're going to
I don't
call
know. They
them.
shouldn't mess with that. That's such an iconic.
Right?
You know, MGM. That's one of the pillars of Hollywood. One of the founding fathers.
An Amazon product. That's what it's going to say. Amazon Prime product.
It's going to be Jeff Bezos in the middle going as he goes up in space.
Painted as a lion.
It's going to be a zero grav face.
Dude, I can't unsee that now. Painted as a lion with just a shitty like mane on, making a roaring face with like he just got his face painted up at like a little fair. So he's got the little nose and whiskers, and then you just see the dick rocket flying behind him. There's the new MGM logo. MGM Prime. There you go, Stick Boy.
That's hilarious.
But man, $8.5 billion for a movie studio.
Shitload of money for those movies.
It is, but wasn't Star Wars bought for less? I mean,
Yes,
I
it
know that's
was.
only Star Wars. I
Lucas,
think it was
not
only
just
$4
Star Wars.
billion.
Lucasfilm was bought for less, and Lucasfilm
true.
included Indiana Jones, everything that came with that.
Yeah, video game rights, all that. Yeah. Well, it's crazy because then I look at like Microsoft buying Activision for like 60 billion or something like that. So it's just nuts. I mean, $8 billion is a lot of
Wait,
money. I'm never going to see that much.
60 billion
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like 60 billion.
for Activision.
Yeah,
Wow,
That seems a little high for
that
me.
doesn't sound right.
it might have been more. I'm looking it up.
I mean, is this a sign that the movie industry, as we know, is dead or going away? Because you got HBO Max buying up properties now. You got all these companies buying up movie studios and properties to put them on their streaming services.
Well, HBO is still owned by a movie studio,
$68.7 billion. That's how much they're buying Activision for.
right? Because Warner Brothers owns HBO, not vice versa.
Right. Yes. Well, doesn't AT&T own Warner Brothers though?
I thought so.
Yes, and then AT&T does own them.
So
I don't know. There's a lot of corporate structure here at work.
yeah, Stick Boy says MGM has a bigger vault to use for streaming than Lucas did. That's probably true.
Yeah, MGM has a lot of stuff in there.
But MGM is also, a lot of that Turner Classic Movie stuff, old classic movies, all those MGM musicals.
Like The Crying Game.
I don't know what future audiences, how they're going to want to consume those kind of movies anymore, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Discovery owns WB now, or soon to at least. So
is AT&T not involved anymore?
Yeah, AT&T is they're divesting themselves of the debt by giving it to Discovery, but they still own it. It's a really weird agreement.
So when they merge, who's going away? HBO Max or Discovery Plus? I would assume Discovery is the one that's going to go away.
No, they've already said
It'll just be like probably one of those, an added hub now onto HBO Max.
Kind of like
they break it down
Disney
into
Plus
hubs.
with,
Yeah.
or you get to get the combo like Disney Plus with Hulu and all that. Hulu and ESPN Plus.
So the article I read earlier this week said that Discovery Plus is going to be merged into HBO Max. I think it's going to be more a matter of like when you go to Disney Plus and they've got Marvel and Star Wars and Disney and Pixar. I think
Mhm.
it's going to be like that because HBO Max has that currently, where you can look it up by, type. That's what I
That's a
think it's
big
gonna be.
move because they're literally, Discovery Plus, that's one fee. HBO Max, that's another fee. You merge, you're literally cutting out, I don't know if they're equal
don't know.
monthly fees, but it's like, almost 50% of your revenue right there. Boom.
They're not. HBO Max is $15 a month. Discovery Plus is $6, maybe $7.
6. Okay. So maybe they feel absorbing that $6 is worth getting all that additional content.
And it might mean a cost increase for HBO Max. Or maybe this is just something I saw earlier this week. I don't, it's not confirmed. It's just someone involved was saying that Discovery Plus was likely going to merge in. But maybe it's going to be
It does make
new
sense,
tier.
though.
Maybe it's going to be a new tier. I don't know.
I wonder, like I said, I wonder if it's something that you can still buy on your own, like standalone, or you can bundle into your HBO subscription, probably for an increased cost.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
Sticks
believe
Boy says
AT&T will
AT&T.
only own part of the Warner Brothers after that sale.
So Variety, HBO Max and Discovery Plus will be combined into one platform. Discovery CFO Gunnar Weidenfels, who will also serve as CFO of the newly combined Warner Bros. Discovery, said Monday that they have plans to combine the two streamers. So I knew it was coming from someone legit.
I would see it. I would see it staying HBO Max because they just have a bigger catalog, I think, than Discovery Plus.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what, media you're looking at. Because if it comes to reality shows, Discovery Plus, right? Because that has all that TLC and all that stuff, does it not?
Yeah, it has the TLC and
Yeah,
of course all the
those
Discovery
are-
Channel stuff.
Those
and
are big and with certain specific
all like
audiences.
the home
90 Day Fiance, the Home Gardens crap, all that stuff.
Yeah, Max knows about that.
Those are pretty
So-
popular.
Fix
So-
it or forget it, or love it or list it.
Okay, so that's what's funny. As I'm skimming through this article, one of the comments that their CFO says, he says the combination could not make more sense than what we're doing here. We have HBO Max with a more premium male skewing positioning, and then you've got the female positioning on the Discovery side. I mean, he's not wrong. The audience is definitely more female on the Discovery side. Not for everything, but
I'd agree for
HBO
Discovery, but HBO is pretty, I'd say half and half.
I think
There's
you're
a lot
right.
of programming for women on HBO too.
I agree.
Sex
But
in the
I-
City. Just
Yeah,
saying.
Friends. I mean, Friends is for everybody, but I know more women obsessed with Friends than men.
Yeah, my fiance being one of them. I can't stand
Yeah,
Friends.
and my wife is one of them too.
Still can't stand Friends.
I mean, whether or not we like Friends or not, that show was not made for us. That show.
Oh, it's extremely popular.
Sticks is awesome. I don't like watching my reality. I certainly don't want to watch someone else's reality.
Well, if your reality is shittier than yours, it makes you feel better.
That's true.
That's the medicine.
So you
of
can watch
reality
those
TV.
kinds of reality TV.
Because you're like, at least my life isn't this train wreck shit show like these people on 90 Day Fiance.
Oh,
There you go.
God.
there you
yeah.
go.
Or Married at First Sight, or
You watch
Love
the
After
jury.
Lockup.
yeah.
I've been subjected to all those shows, and I use the word subjected.
And like there's
Yeah.
the spin-offs of 90 Day Fiance. Like,
Yes.
The first
And then you
90
gotta watch.
days.
Then you got to watch the show where the people are sitting on a bed watching the show.
Yes, I have been subjected to that myself.
See, Kelsey doesn't watch that stuff. She only watches like the happy stuff. So it's like all the home building shows and renovation shows.
Love After Lockup is amazing.
I
Although-
do dig like the Restaurant Impossible.
I like the Gordon
Um,
Ramsay stuff. That's
What's the
great.
one? John Tafford. Bar
Bar Rescue?
That's
Yeah,
one of
I
my
love Bar
favorites.
Rescue.
And also Hotel Impossible. I may have seen every season of that so far. I don't know why. I worked in the hotel business for a while, so watching that show is fascinating. As hotels are some of the most fucked up places.
There's like two shows
True.
that if they're on TV and there's nothing else to watch, or I'm sick, like I fall in a rabbit hole and I'll be 7 or 8 hours I'll go by and I've been watching nothing but that, and that's Bar Rescue or Forged in Fire.
Diners.
What's the
Drive-Ins,
second
and
one?
Dives, man.
Forged in Fire.
Oh, okay.
Forged in Fire is such a good show.
Triple D is good.
I can't stand Guy Fieri, so I don't
I
watch
just-
diners, drive-ins, and dives.
I like that one, or Man vs. Food was good, or just the Food Channel stuff gets me. But Kelsey will watch, and I'm not super into sweets, but she'll watch like the Cupcake Wars and stuff.
Did you
And
guys
I've
ever
got
watch?
diabetes, man. You can't put that stuff on in front of me.
Oh, wait,
guys ever
Aaron
Blood
loves
sugar
to
rises
watch.
watching it.
how about
Aaron loves
Fuck-
to watch Chopped. And Chopped
Chopped.
Junior.
Chopped Canada.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Ish, though?
Fuck, that's delicious. You ever guys see that with
No,
I've
Action
never heard of that.
Bronson? Oh my god, that's the best like food reality show ever. It's on Vice. It's the only reason to watch Vice, and it's called Fuck, That's Delicious.
I don't know
amazing.
about that because Dark Side of the Ring is on Vice, and that's
That's
worth
true.
watching.
All right. 2 shows then.
And most expensivest with 2 Chains is pretty good too, just to watch.
I saw
How
a couple. I
completely
couldn't.
high he
After a while,
gets.
I just had to stop. I was like, this guy's just too much. 2 Chains, too much. Some of that stuff was whack.
Oh, it looks like
But-
you can watch that show on Hulu.
Which
I might
one?
Check it out. That's delicious.
Oh, fuck, that's delicious.
Fuck,
Yeah,
That's
Bronson.
Delicious is great.
Yeah. Yeah, season 1 through 4 is on there. Decent
So
amount
it's
of
hosted
content.
by this Albanian rapper who is very popular in New York and other parts of the world.
Action Bronson.
Action Bronson. He's
It's,
quite the
it's
character.
added
He's
to
quite
my
the
list.
character. Yeah, and his friend, this other rapper, Mayhem. They're great. I fell in love with them. It was a great show.
Stick Boy says inmates say love during lockup is good as well. Your mom says love after lockup makes me feel so much better about my life choices. Heck yeah. Don't believe me, Ish loves 90 Day Fiance.
It's hard to, like, you walk by it, someone says something on the show, so you have to look. You're like, did that person just really just say that? And then, like, next thing you know, you've watched like 40 minutes of it.
Yep.
Dude, especially if Big Ed's on there.
Yeah, it's Big Ed. Big
can't
Ed,
look past
he's got
Big
like
Ed.
some new food show where he goes around eating food and they film him eating it.
Dude, have you seen pictures of that guy like when he was younger to now? Like, where did his neck go?
Well, he's got a condition, yeah, where his
Dude.
neck literally disappeared. It, like,
Yeah, he's got,
the
like,
bones,
no neck.
fused.
It's so crazy. Looking at
Dude,
him.
that
What is-
one I did see the part where I had to watch where he goes to the Philippines.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was the wackest shit. He wouldn't stop
he-
sweating. He didn't realize it was going to be like totally third world conditions.
And he like buys the girl a toothbrush and mouthwash
Yeah.
and the breast stink. Oh my god. Big Ed for the win, man. Oh,
No, I don't know about there's that dude who chatted with the Ukrainian girl for 10 years. And he's made multiple trips to the Ukraine where he got stood up by her and still is absolutely convinced that it's real and that they're in love.
Oh my gosh. No, he's
The
being
dude David
catfished so
from
hard.
Las Vegas. I think it's the same season as Big Ed.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy. And that dude was relentless. He spent so much money on these trips. And he'd get there and be at the meeting spot. And then he'd get a text from her. She's like, "Oh, I can't go. I have to do this."
That is the most obvious
Especially
catfishing
if he's
ever.
got chin and shoulder disease, maybe.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that show. I just don't understand like how they find these people, or like why would you agree to this? Like it's just so it's just a train wreck of a show. But I do like watching it. As I do like watching people watch other people on when they do like the 90 Day Fiance like that. When like they said, people are sitting on the beds and like commenting over what they're doing in the show. Just makes it so much better. But TLC has all those weird shows, man.
Dr. Pimple Popper.
Dr. Pimple Popper, yeah.
No.
My 1,000.
I've
pound
lived
best
that
friends
life.
and-
I don't want to watch it.
How have you lived that life?
Last year, I had like a big old cyst on the back of my neck. It took like 3 months to clear that thing up.
No way.
Yeah, well, so they started me on antibiotics, and that didn't work. And so about after a month or two of antibiotics, I had to go into the doctor, and they drained that sucker.
You're
It was the
misleading.
most-
You're misleading as fuck, Max.
What are you talking about?
Because here, I think Ish and I both will think the same thing. Like, dude, you watch people, you pop people's pimples and shit, and then you're like, oh, I had a
Oh,
cyst on
no.
my back. Like, I'm
No.
sitting here thinking like you're gonna tell me awesome stories of you like watching people things get lanced or popped open, and you're like,
I had it done to me,
I had
and
a
it's
cyst
disgusting.
on my back, and it's just got a little leakage. Yes.
A
Damn
little
it, dude,
leakage. It literally shot across the room.
You made
It was
me
disgusting.
You
Yours
sucked
did?
me in and then let me
Yes.
down.
Oh man.
Yes, dude. It got on the doctor. They still talk to me about it every time I go in.
That's kind of awesome.
And then there was literally like 3 months of my wife having to drain it for me and pack it like every freaking like every third day.
Did they
It
remove
was
the sack?
awful. Yeah, they did, but like there was just
Okay.
still some leakage in there. I have a hole in my neck still. Like and
Matt,
it's never
Matt,
gonna
what are we
heal.
doing to your show here?
Whatever
talking
you
Yeah,
want.
let's move
man.
on.
We've gone into
When we-
grand detail about Max's
when-
back nexus.
When we
Lanced.
right
Good
before
pun.
Lanced.
right before starting, Matt was like, "This is probably gonna be an hour show," and here we are, 2 hours in. We still have 2 topics left.
Talking about Dr. Pimple Poppers and shaving your nuts. And,
Dude, imagine Big Ed with a cyst on his neck.
what neck? It would be the back of his head. It'd be a cyst on the back of his head. Have you ever seen Big Ed, Max?
No,
Oh my God. Here we go. You've never seen Big Ed.
no, sir.
I'm going to show you Big Ed. You're about to get a face full of Big Ed.
A face full of Big Ed. All
A
right.
face full of Big Ed.
Dude, him having sex with the girl. They didn't show it, but like they showed the next morning. Might
I
be the
can't-
most awkward thing ever on television.
This is Big Ed.
Oh, okay. I've seen him before.
No neck.
Yeah,
No
he does
neck,
not have a
man.
neck.
Like right here.
Oh
I
my
just-
gosh, he literally has no neck. Oh my goodness.
I just don't get it, man. When he was younger, he had it, but he gets decently smoking, hot looking women. Like,
He's got to be rich, right?
oh yeah, I think he's filthy rich. But like,
He's a pretty
goodness.
funny guy. At least he's self-aware, right?
Wow, literally.
Even
no
though
neck.
you think on the things he does on the show complete lack of self-awareness, he's still somehow bizarrely self-aware.
Like he can't even. He has no neck to collar.
that's not photoshopped.
No, that is
Oh
not
my
photoshopped.
gosh. That's
So that girl
hilarious.
brought this dude and like to her dad. This is my new boyfriend. We're going to America together.
Yeah, the Filipino.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Filipino chick.
He
Yeah.
had to take a shower with her dad,
Wow.
which basically was just her hosing 2 men down.
I love that we can hear your wife laughing in the background.
She was laughing at him the whole time.
Yeah, in their little rundown shack. Yeah,
Yeah,
in the
with
Philippines.
the rats.
Mm-hmm. Big Ed. Dude, that's what turned me out of that show. That was just going through.
You know what? I agree. That's one of those things where I was just like, I walked by, I saw this dude, and I was like, what the hell?
Oh, dude, there you need. This is what you need to get, Ash. Right here. I'm gonna share my screen again. The Big Ed
could
bed
play a
spread.
hot-
Big Ed bed spread.
Oh man, that's scary.
Oh my goodness. Ugh.
Oh, dude. Big Ed, man.
Hey, this guy's like, he's famous now. He's got his own spin-off show.
Oh yeah.
He milked that neck for all it was worth.
Literally. Your breath is not pretty. Oh, but he's crushing it. Good for Big Ed. I wonder if they have if he can get surgery to get his neck back.
I'm sure he would have if he could have.
They sell Big Ed face masks. Insanity, man. All right, enough about Big Ed. The Batman getting an HBO.
I feel like Big Ed could be a Batman villain.
Yes, he could. Coming to HBO Max April 23rd. So if you haven't seen the Batman yet and you're still not ready to go out to theaters, you can catch it on HBO Max April 23rd. So that's about right at 45 days. So they're still doing that 45-day window of movies to HBO Max.
Well, people should try to see this in theaters.
They should.
He was on season 2 of the 90 Day Single Life spinoff. Yes, he was. What's is it Colton or something like the other guy that's like had 2 wives now leave him? I don't know. That show's everyone on that show is just a train wreck. But you can't look away.
I just want to say this. I really hope that this trend of movies releasing on streaming services 45-ish days after their theatrical, I hope that stays because it's so nice. Like, I will definitely be tuning in to watch the Batman again on April 23rd.
Yeah, I just hate that you still have to wait longer for it to come out on Blu-ray because I want to buy my movies on physical still. I don't like watching them streamed.
Sure, but the reason I like this is because then I have an option to watch it, and then once the disc comes out, I'll buy it. But it just means I have an option.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the Blu-ray.
Like, I'm dying to watch.
Same with Spider-Man.
That's what I was saying. I'm dying to watch Spider-Man No Way Home again.
I couldn't wait,
but I don't want to pay for it on streaming because I want the 4K. Like, I spent all this money for good TV and sound, and I want.
And it is.
I want
Blu-ray is still, or 4K Blu-ray. If you have that, is still the best.
Oh, absolutely.
Granted, HBO streaming is surprisingly often super high quality. Some of the other streaming platforms are sometimes crazy iffy, including Amazon.
Paramount's pretty bad.
Paramount might, and I hate saying that because that's some of my favorite shows. But yeah, Paramount needs to get their tech-wise, get their act together.
Mm-hmm.
Unless their goal is to get me to, because they know all the Trekkies are going to buy the Blu-rays anyway.
And our last story tonight is if you're a Resident Evil fan, the Resident Evil series, I'm excited for it. It's coming July 14th.
I have not watched a single Resident Evil, played any
total
Resident
reboot?
Evil.
It is a total reboot, yeah.
Is this live action?
Yep. Mm-hmm. You haven't played a single Resident Evil game?
Mm-mm. I have not
either.
I own Resident Evil 2 on Steam, the remake. I just need to play it, but I don't like horror very much. I don't mind watching horror, but I don't like playing it because I get freaked out, man. Zombies running at me. It's not my favorite.
Shoot them.
I know.
Resident Evil is one of my favorite franchises. I love it. I can't wait for whatever they announce a new Resident Evil game. I'm on top of it. It is connected to Raccoon City.
It's a widely popular franchise, and that, people always talk about the video game curse, but they made like 5 Resident Evil movies.
They weren't good. They weren't good, but let's be honest.
They made money though.
Yeah, they were I don't know. The only reason people started to go watch them is to see it, like if they could get progressively worse. And they're not good. They're a guilty pleasure of mine. Especially the first.
That almost became like a family project, right? Because it starred Mila Jovovich. Yeah. It was produced, written, and directed by her husband. So by the end, they were basically making these movies just to support themselves and their family. Not in like a meager way, but almost literally. Like that was their bread and butter as a married couple, as a family, was just pumping out those movies.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize that it was.
And that they could always be together. That was a thing where she doesn't want to be in movies because she's a mom and the family and all that. And this was their workaround, that her and her husband, they'll just make their 2 movies together all the time.
And the kids will be there. And I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, because he's been like doing a lot of video game reboots. Like he did Monster Hunter with her.
He did the original Mortal Kombat.
He did the original Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Monster Hunter looked absolutely
We're talking about
terrible.
Paul Anderson, right?
Yeah.
I think his best movie probably by far is Event Horizon.
That is a good movie, yes.
Which is a good movie, yeah.
I did not know he did
that.
The
might be his
Mortal Kombat.
Masterpiece. Yeah, I saw that in theaters when it came out, and I thought it was, and I'd actually played that video game in arcades. So I went into the movie knowing the lore and all that, and I thought the movie was still kind of fun in a super cheesy way. Christopher Lambert is Raiden and stuff.
And they ruined it by giving us the second one.
I never saw the second one.
You're good. Good. Johnny Cage dies in the first 5 minutes.
You know what I just got? I got the Steelbook Blu-ray of Street Fighter.
Why?
Jean-Claude
Why?
Van Damme. I fucking
Why?
love that movie so much.
You know what? I like
Movie's
that
so
movie.
bad.
As Raul Julia as M. Bison, man, that makes me hard. That movie, it's
Movie's
it's like the
so
best
bad.
kind of B movie cheese. Absolutely
Oh,
so good.
God.
That cast is amazing. I love that movie. Love it.
Yeah.
I respect that.
You know, it even
And-
ends. Do you guys remember the final shot? They're all together, and then they all like jump up and do a pose, and it freeze frames, and it just says Street Fighter.
Mhm.
I don't even remember
Yes.
that, but I liked the movie. But I haven't really seen it since I was a kid, so this might just be purely nostalgia that I like it.
It's a movie that embraces. It knows what it is. It's like, this is an adaptation of this kind of video game. They're not going to make you think it's Stanley Kubrick or anything, and they just go all out and fully embrace it. And it shines.
Jean-Claude Van Damme
the love
as
shines
Guile.
through. Yes. I'm going to kick your ass.
Dude, I can't.
They just don't make him like that anymore.
It's probably a good thing. And
Someone
it's-
told me I hadn't seen Uncharted, that Uncharted kind of had that throwback feel.
I liked Uncharted.
That wasn't worried. It wasn't worried about being a cheesy, fun movie.
I've still
I
not
would agree
seen
with that.
Uncharted yet.
It was completely cheesy and on purpose, and I loved it.
Have you
Wow.
watched Adam Project on Netflix yet, Ish?
Adam, I've never even heard of it.
It's a Ryan Reynolds. It's a new Ryan Reynolds movie, where he goes with time travel.
Okay.
I was going to talk about it tonight, but Lance isn't here. Max hasn't seen it yet. Or he's seen it.
Did you like it?
I loved it, and I loved
loved
the
it,
interesting
okay.
take on. Well, because I love time travel movies. Like that's my niche. That's time travel. So like the Back
And
to the
that's
Future
tough to do.
franchise. Well,
Time
yeah,
travel is
because
so
how
hard to
much
do.
can you do with time travel? But
And
like
to make
Hot
it
Tub
real,
Time
real
Machine,
and
but-
believable.
yeah,
Top Time Machine.
yeah, Looper. Like I love time travel stuff, and just the different take on time travel in this movie versus like what you see from Back to the Future or Avengers or anything like that. Like I love when someone can give you a different feel on it. Like it made it to where like they're saying, well, if you go back in time and meet your 12-year-old self, wouldn't your 12-year-old self then remember meeting you in the future? Wouldn't you remember that when you get older? And they're kind of like, no, because your memories wipe. So when you go back to the time you're from, your memories of meeting yourself are gone because it stays in the time where you're from. So just because you're going back in time, yourself stays where you're originally from. So it was just a new cool take on kind of time travel and the whole like rules of time and not meeting yourself and the laws and supposed laws of time travel.
That's just interesting. So then the events that transpire would still transpire, but you wouldn't remember that they
Correct.
occurred because you were with yourself.
Correct. Well, because
Interesting.
because of where you're from. So your memories stay once you go back to where you're from, your memories wipe because your memories stay where you were originally from.
So does future Ryan Reynolds remember going back in time?
No. Nope.
Interesting. Okay, that is a very
So-
interesting take.
Wow.
He just remembers it as it's happening, but he says once it happens, he won't remember it anymore. So it's a really cool take on
like once time resets itself, or
yeah. You don't
That's
have
just
any
weird.
memories.
Like I was on board with like young Ryan Reynolds' character not remembering, but older Ryan Reynolds wouldn't remember that he went.
yeah,
back
that's
in
what I
time
thought
and
you
then
meant,
came
that the
back.
young Ryan Reynolds wouldn't remember, because the memory.
So
would
neither
travel
of them
Back
do.
to the Future, but
Right. Neither of them are going to remember that they met at this point, that these events even happened.
That's interesting.
So
I need to watch this. We'll see. Maybe I'll watch it this weekend.
it was super fun, but I don't know. It's got a huge, like, awesome cast on it. Like Zoe Saldana's in it. Mark Ruffalo's in it. Jennifer Gardner's in it. Ryan Reynolds is in it. So it's
wow. Okay.
got a huge cast. So
Here's an idea for a future episode. We rank time travel movies.
Oh, I'd be all
Ooh.
over that.
That's a fun idea. I'm in. I thought of something the other day that I wanted to rank too, but now I don't remember it. There's a lot of fun rankings we could do.
I like movies. Like, it's not necessarily a time travel movie, but like one of my guilty pleasure movies to watch is Butterfly Effect, the original with Ashton Kutcher.
Mm.
Like, I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
love stuff like that. Love stuff like that, and like movies like The Weatherman, where like you wake up one dirtbag piece of shit, and then something happens, and you go and have like this huge moral like
You're
realization.
talking
Like,
about
it shows you
Man
the
with Nick Cage.
yeah, like it shows you like the life you could have had if you took this different path. Like, I like stuff like that. Like, that's all like stuff I'm really into. I don't know why, it just tickles my fancy, I guess. But
I actually haven't seen Butterfly Effect, but I love the idea of the Butterfly Effect.
I've not seen it either.
it's a really good movie, I think. But
well, isn't the idea? It's the idea that everything we do has consequences.
yeah,
Right? I mean, it's like some insignificant thing that you do today could potentially have a consequence 20 years down the line that you just have no idea. But had
Right,
you not done
exactly.
that, like,
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's also like that old adage that the more you try to fix something, the more you screw it up. So, because I can't tell you how many times I'd sit there and be like, oh, well, if I go back in time, I'm going to do this. Or I wish I could go back in time and place a bet on this game and win millions of dollars. Or, you
yeah.
know.
Honestly, I
Or
love
maybe
the
you died in a
concept.
car crash on the way to cash in your lottery ticket. You know,
Right? Exactly. And you cease
Maybe.
to exist.
Well, it's why like I am not a big fan of regretting things because I'm pretty happy. Like I've got a happy life, I've got a
regret
good
is
life.
the worst.
And
Yeah.
so I don't want to regret anything because everything I've done up until now has led me to where I am. I mean, okay, there's like some things I can regret. I wish that I didn't overeat so much, or I wish I would have spent money on XYZ thing, but those aren't like big regrets, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Now I'm getting too serious. We should end the show.
Let's just say if I could go back in time, I would totally pull a Lou from Hot Tub Time Machine and make it so I was the inventor of Google and Amazon and all these like massive companies. For sure.
I would just write all the great rock songs of all time.
Yeah. There you
They
go.
would all just be me.
That reminds me, I need to watch that
all the
show.
cool movies.
Was that movie about the guy who like goes to like an alternate universe and like writes Beatles songs or something?
Oh,
Came out like a year ago, 2 years ago. Yesterday.
Yeah,
I need to watch
yesterday.
that. I've
Was
heard
that an
it's great.
alternate universe? He wakes up one day and the world's forgotten about the Beatles,
Okay.
except for him.
Okay. And
So
so
he
he like
gets a
starts
chance
writing
to-
their songs.
Yeah, but it's kind of funny because he has to do it all from memory because
Yeah.
he can't look it up. There's the
if
Beatles
he-
don't exist
If he
anymore.
remembers the lyrics wrong or the chorus wrong, yeah.
Yeah, then he's just gotta run with it.
It's
But then they ruin it by making it so like somebody else remembers it too. So
There's a couple people who are like,
Yeah.
their memories start creeping back, and you think they're gonna like call him out and ruin his gig, and that's kind of what they push through the whole movie. But they put a twist on it where the people like instead thank him, like, well, thank you because the Beatles disappeared and you brought them back.
stick with it. I regret that Lance never got his brick oven pizza. But yeah, that's why I like Doctor Who, man. I'm a huge all about time travel. Time travel just piques my interest a lot. But I would definitely say check it out if you got nothing else to watch. But
What was it called again? Adam,
it's called The Atom Project.
Adam, like the name, or Atom?
Yeah,
like
Atom like
atomic?
the name.
Okay.
So super cool, super sci-fi. I think you guys will like it.
Max, have you watched season 5 of Last Kingdom yet?
Yes, I finished it earlier this week. Oh, so good.
I have not. Was it glorious?
It was. I'm not going to spoil a thing. but
All
I'll
I
say
know
that-
is it leads directly into, I guess, a movie that's coming. So it's not the end.
I mean, yes, I know that there's a movie coming, but I would say that if you don't watch whatever movie's coming, it has a pretty good. It wraps up.
It does a satisfying ending. Okay.
Yeah, I think it has a satisfying.
I'm
ending.
kind of sad that it's over, but I'm looking forward to it. That's been one of my favorite shows for sure.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
All I'm gonna say is it Alexander Dreyfus? Is that his name? The actor, the guy who plays Uhtred. He
Yeah.
is so good at monologues. He has several monologues throughout the season that I'm just like, bro, I just want to get up and fight with you. Like, like he's so
Just
good.
that character Uhtred, he's kind of filled my my Conan the Barbarian void.
Yeah, he's
That
amazing,
hero,
dude.
you know,
I
the women
so
lament.
your mom is not sad it's over. I loved the show Vikings, like it was good, but The Last Kingdom I think is so much better. And I'm bummed that it's over, but at the same time I like seeing things come to a conclusion. But then it's not a conclusion because there's going to be the movie. So there's definitely things that are left open-ended at the end of the show that can lead into a movie, but it also wraps up pretty well.
All right.
So I think I know where the movie's going to go based on how the show ends. But
Matt, have you watched The Last Kingdom?
I haven't.
I've
You
recommended
should put
it
it
on here
high on
several
your
times.
list. It's amazing. I watched the first 2 seasons twice, just like as soon as it ended, I just watched them again. They were so fucking good.
Yeah, I've watched this show several times through.
If you
After
like
season
history,
4,
if you like history and that type of stuff, because that's one that the strengths of the shows, it feels like accurate, even if not every detail is completely accurate.
yeah,
It
Uhtred
really
is a fake
feels like
character, but the events and a lot of the battles are
well,
based
no,
on
Uhtred's a
history.
real character, but just out of time. The character he's based on lived like maybe 200-300 years after King Alfred.
Yeah,
but-
well, there's
so he
there's
kind of
several different
amalgamated
Uhtred's.
some elements.
Stick Boy's on it. He wants to know where the Last Kingdom is located.
Is located in Wales, or
I think it's
Wessex.
filmed in Ireland or something, but
actually
yeah,
filmed in
it's-
Hungary.
is it Hungary? Oh,
Yeah.
What show am I thinking that's filmed in Ireland then? I don't know.
Your mom
Yes,
says yes. He did
twice.
watch them twice.
And
Yeah,
your mom
man.
watched them with me, and she's gonna pretend just like me with 90 Day. I pretend I hate it. She pretends she hates The Last Kingdom, but then she watches it.
Look at
I'll catch her
mom's
at the
house.
doorway, still kind of peeking and watching it, you know. And I think she's in the other room.
So an exercise that I say is kind of cool is if you like this Viking kind of stuff, watch The Last Kingdom and watch Vikings because there's similar people in history that are brought into both shows, and it's really cool to see how each show handles them. Like
Doesn't Vikings
King
have
Alfred.
a new like spin-off show or sequel?
Yeah, there's
show or
one on
something?
Netflix. I haven't.
Stick Boy
I
wants to know
haven't started it yet.
where you gonna watch it.
Netflix.
Netflix, yes. Not Lost Kingdom, Last Kingdom.
Yes,
Don't make that mistake.
but like King Alfred is in both series, and he's handled very differently in both.
Okay.
I think King Edward is in both, and it's just cool. Vikings covers a lot, like a lot larger range of Viking history, whereas The Last Kingdom is only focused on, like, they don't ever go to like Iceland and stuff like that. Really, it's just focused in England. It's all
So it's a
about the
Viking style,
Saxons and the Danes.
Viking style show.
It is. It's
well,
a lot like
it's Vikings versus the Saxons.
Mm.
Yeah,
It's about the
Dane and
Viking,
Saxon.
Viking invasion of Britain.
But it shows both sides of the conflict a lot. Uhtred is like a gateway between both sides. Yeah, it's amazing, dude.
He
You
plays
really
both
should
sides,
give it.
yeah.
Yeah, you should really give it a watch.
Yeah, he's
That
one of my
is
kind of one of
really-
my favorite heroes right now in movies or TV because he is so badass. You know, whenever there's a problem and Uhtred shows up, you're like, yes, it's on.
She's calling you out, man. Your mom says he has to rewatch it because he falls asleep when it's on. Then he ends up wasting brain space knowing about this shit because I could care less about it. I do that too, though. Fall asleep watching something, then I have to rewatch it.
Well, that happens.
It does,
Sometimes I rewatch.
Especially when you have
I
kids.
want to rewatch it.
especially when you have young kids.
Yes.
Yeah, but no, I was thinking when you say Last King, it sounds more like a King Arthur type thing.
Oh
Like,
no,
I could be down for that, like King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table.
No, this
Well,
is
Percival-
devoid of magic and
yeah, it's based on history with fictionalized takes. There's no, like, even Vikings has some supernatural stuff. There's none of that here.
I'll have to give it
It's
a go.
really good. Okay, so your mom's making a comment, totally valid, and it is funny. Like, what's up with Uhtred? Does that mother effer even age? So I think the series, when it starts off, Uhtred's like 10, And in the first season, like he's probably like in his 20s or something. By the end, I'm pretty sure he's like 50 or 60. But the actor, the
No,
series is
really?
only, yeah. The series only takes place over, like 50 years. But the act, they've only filmed it over maybe 8. So he hasn't aged that much, and they don't do a lot of work on his makeup. So it is kind of funny. You see this like 30-year-old guy, and he's supposed to be playing a 60-year-old man, and he has full-grown adult children.
He
and all
keeps
this. It's kinda
himself
funny.
fresh. He wins every battle.
Yeah.
he's all the pipe. The
He
dude's
also,
a winner.
he's a freaking horn dog in the first few seasons.
Yes, and your mom is right that the women are psychos.
Oh my gosh, Brita, frick. Brita is nuts. But her story in this season's awesome. Watch it, Ish.
Yeah,
And then shoot me a message when you're done. We got to talk about
it. She said, your mom says every episode is basically which chick that Uhtred fucked is gonna die today.
it. Bit of an exaggeration, but oh man.
I have to make sure Aaron doesn't hear your recommendation for this show because you've got her watching Uploader, and I want to drill a hole in my head as she's sitting there watching it.
That show's awesome, dude.
The show's terrible.
What is it?
Upload.
Upload.
It's
Terrible
great.
show.
It's hilarious. Matt has no taste.
No,
Matt's got
I have pretty
COVID.
good-
No taste.
I have pretty good taste. I just don't think like The Good Place was a good show. You don't have to rip it off and
Well, it's
do
the
it
same creator, dude.
yeah, but
I wouldn't call it a
VR
ripoff.
wise, like it's just nah. Robbie Amell's a terrible actor for that show.
Oh, he's so good, dude. He's amazing.
No thanks.
Yes, thanks.
Death by Snoo. Stick Boy says for the Last Kingdom reference.
I don't know what that means.
You guys got anything else you want to talk about? It's a South
Yeah,
Park
maybe
reference.
not on the happiest of note, but rest in peace, Razor Ramon.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Yeah,
I mean, we're a little.
glad you're here for
This
that.
was like a week ago, but we hadn't had a chance to talk about it. It's pretty sad.
Hey, yo, Chico.
I
Yes,
guess he
sir,
had
they said.
he had a surgery that went bad, and that caused like several heart attacks that he never recovered from.
I want to say it was like a hip surgery, a hip replacement.
Yeah, it was hip
surgery, and
replacement. Yeah,
He had blood clots that released, and 2 of them exploded in his heart. 2 heart attacks, and by the second one, he's already in a vegetated state. And then he had a third one, and he was on life support until his family could get there. But he was, the bad guy, man. He did it better than anyone.
he was a classic heel. Yeah,
That division, man, the 80s, late 80s, early 90s Intercontinental Championship division in WWF was highly underrated. And how many of those people went on to be bigger stars? But and then just going to WCW and starting the NWO with Hogan and Nash, he's a trailblazer, man. Icon.
absolutely.
For sure. Being
Absolutely.
part of
And
the
then-
clique in WWE and
And then also, next time anyone tells you wrestling is fake, show them the clip of Big E breaking his neck on
dude.
Raw last week. That was
And
that was
SmackDown.
rough. Oh, it was a SmackDown. Sorry,
I can't watch it, dude.
That was so rough to watch.
Right on his head. And like you would expect that dude to catch heat, and apparently they're just treating it as like things happen. Shit
They're
happens.
saying his career is over.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because of
But,
the where his broke
physically
his
he's going to
neck.
be okay, I guess. He's not paralyzed or anything, but
but his
he's never going to be able to
career
wrestle
is
again.
done.
Which shows, I mean, they do those moves, those suplexes, those moves, how many times in one match? You know what I mean? And every single time it is, they're playing with their lives.
Yep.
You do one thing goes wrong by half an inch, and yeah, you get a broken neck just like that. So wrestling is definitely not fake.
It's scripted, but it definitely takes a toll on your body for sure.
It's dangerous.
Yeah,
man.
there's the skill required to pull off those moves is.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he makes a comeback. I mean, Edge had a career-ending neck injury and he came back. Bryan Danielson had a career-ending neck injury and he came back.
That's true.
Waiting for Paige to come back from hers. Austin had a career-ending neck. Austin broke his Owen Hart broke Austin's neck by pile driving him. So, and he came back. So who knows? Like they're saying
unrelated, Jack Eichel, hockey player for the Vegas Golden Knights, he had this like state of the art, cutting edge neck surgery, and that totally gave him a second life in his career. And they said now, like, we might see now, a lot of neck injuries not be a big deal because of this surgery.
Yeah, but they said like I know that one of the doctors said that where Big E's break is, it never fully heals right, and so if he takes another pile driver, it's going to be weakened and paralyze him.
Yeah,
like Nikki Bella too. She had that whole neck injury thing going, and she can only come back part time. So who knows? There's a lot. That
sucks. Big E was definitely one of the good guys of the WWE.
Oh, for sure.
Real popular with kids. Real positive message type guy.
The New Day.
Yeah,
but that's rough because he gets dropped right on the crown of his head too.
Oh man,
like it's rough.
And you see it full all the way in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like there's always spots like that where dudes get dropped on their head, and you're like, oh god, like how?
And the crazy nature of the sport is that the match kept going. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What's his face? Kofi Kingston kind of looked over at him, and then he turned around. They just kept going. The show goes on.
That's right. But your mom says Paige ain't coming back. Yeah. I read a recent interview with her. She didn't take her first neck injury seriously enough. Basically ruined her. Well, yeah, it's because her first one, they said she didn't need surgery. And I think that's when she was dating Alberto Del Rio, and she kind of went into that, like I call it spastic phase. And she went and got neck fusion surgery anyways. And that would pretty much like ended her career. So I don't know. There's been always talk in the dirt sheets about her coming back. And Austin, like I said, Austin retired early because of his neck, and he's coming back. That dude had a broken neck, 2 bad knees, and he's coming back. So who knows?
Hey, sometimes money makes you push through the pain.
And Ricky Bobby said it best. With my high level of income, it's crazy to think I can't live another 200, 300 years. My high level of income and advanced in medical sciences, it's crazy to think I can't live at least another 200, 300 years. But,
so we're 2 weeks away from WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
They're making a big deal about the combining of the titles. How do you feel about that?
See you later, Sticks. See you next week. I'm okay with it. Like, it makes me think that Fox, because like they're whole separating in the brands because of Fox.
Yeah, I think Fox is bowing out.
Yeah, I think Fox. I think they're going to end up selling
to Peacock.
Yeah, and that's why they're unifying the titles, and that's if McMahon doesn't sell the company altogether. But I'm okay with them unifying the titles. I just wish I didn't have to watch Brock versus Roman again.
Who do you think it's going to be though? Because obviously, whoever wins that is like the heavyweight.
I think it's going to be Roman because I honestly think they're leading to Roman versus Dwayne for the title of head of the table at WrestleMania next year. So I think Roman's going to win it. He's going to hold the belt for another year until WrestleMania next year, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is going to face him for it at WrestleMania. And I think he drops it there to The Rock, and The Rock will hold it for a month, and then he'll drop it too. Yeah, I don't see Brock. I don't see Brock winning it, honestly. I'm actually more interested in the Pat McAfee Austin Theory angle than I am Brock versus Roman.
That should be pretty hilarious there.
I mean, that's my thing with WWE is they have all this good talent though, and they're wasting prime spots in WrestleMania and giving them to people like, okay, I'm invested in the Johnny Knoxville, Sami Zayn stuff because I think that stuff's been interesting. But the Logan Paul, the Miz stuff against
I want to see that.
I could care less about that. And then now you've got the Pat McAfee. So they're giving prime spots for up and coming wrestlers.
Well, and then Bianca versus Becky Lynch, the big rematch
for movie stars, which I think Becky's going to drop the belt to Bianca. Honestly,
I think so too.
And then you got Charlotte Flair versus Ronda. We all know where that's going. Charlotte Flair is going to drop the belt to Ronda. So
okay, you never know. You never know.
I don't know, man. I'm not. There's some matches I'm hyped for. I'm hyped I'm a Steve Austin mark, so of course I'm hyped for the Kevin Owens
with him and
angle
Kevin Owens, yeah.
to see how that goes. But I don't know.
I like how, and I don't think he was wrong. Where what's his name? Oh my God, crazy Joker dude, Seth Rollins.
Yeah,
He's like, Seth Rollins doesn't need WrestleMania. WrestleMania needs Seth Rollins. I'm like, that's exactly right.
Cody Rhodes. He's gonna fight
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, and I'm stoked for that. If everyone who's saying Cody Rhodes is coming back to WWE is telling the truth, but I'm stoked for that, and I hope they do him right. I don't want no Stardust gimmick. I want, American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, like New Japan Cody Rhodes. That's what I want. Bullet Club Cody Rhodes. I don't want none of this stupid makeup trying to be his brother type stuff. Your mom KO for life. I love that chubby little Canadian.
Did Max freeze up? Oh no, he moved.
No, he's still sitting. He's like,
I'm here. I just don't. I
He
don't
just
watch
like
wrestling.
glossed over.
yeah.
I like what's been going on in NXT. I got to admit, I love a lot of what's going on in NXT with the whole Ciampa, Braun Breaker, and then Dolph Ziggler now has the title.
I just don't understand why they're bringing Raw stars to NXT.
They got to boost the ratings. I think I saw NXT viewership was around 200,000, that's worse than bad.
But they wanted to hold. That's why they wiped out. They let Adam Cole walked away. Got rid of all these wrestlers because they wanted to get the new younger talent. And 2.0 just isn't carrying. Like they moved Mandy Rose down there, and she's the women's champ now. Dolph Ziggler's the NXT champ, and what Ciampa is getting a call up, and like I don't.
Well, Ciampa gave kind
of
like a farewell speech this week, though.
Yeah, because he's getting called up to SmackDown, I think.
You think that's what's happening?
Mm-hmm. Pete Dunne got called up, and they changed his name to Butch, and now he's basically jobbing out with Sheamus.
Oh, Pete Dunne, I can't stand that guy.
Like what NXT? Like I liked Doudrop when she was in NXT UK as her name Piper Niven. And now they give her a stupid gimmick like Doudrop.
If it's supposed to be this feeder league, then technically nobody's really. If you're good, you're not going to stick around in NXT. You would get bumped up,
right? But
they want to create NXT stars too to keep you watching NXT. So
but they did like Finn Balor, man. Finn Balor got pushed. He was huge in NXT, went to the main roster, became the first Universal Champion, got hurt, went back down to NXT, he was huge again, back to a main roster, and until he won the US title, he was basically nothing. Like the best gimmick in the world was the Demon, and the Demon being undefeated, and then they just let Roman Reigns stomp all over that
Demon character.
Yeah, I love Finn Balor.
Bonkers.
But then you let Roman Reigns stomp all over that. It's like pro wrestling, you can't have anything good anymore. Like there's got to be an end to everything. Taker's streak. I would have loved for him to retire, never being beaten at WrestleMania. But then I have Brock Lesnar just end it. No thanks. Like, I don't know. I'm just a purist, I guess, like that. I would rather see the Taker streak end than keep going. But anything else you guys got you want to talk about?
Nothing.
Ish, I think we need to start a wrestling podcast, Ish, at least once a week, because I could talk wrestling with you for hours. But it is late, and I gotta go help the missus with the baby's bath. So, nothing else you guys got?
No, sir.
Again, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thanks
You're
for
welcome
coming on.
Anytime you want, Ish. You can come back every week.
I hope I made the audience forget about Travis. I'm just kidding. Travis is the best. His adventures in Guam. I'm envious.
Yeah, he's doing cool stuff.
That's cool. He lives the life.
He does. But all right, that'll be it for this week's episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast.
Your bath is done, silly.
Yeah, if this is your first time hearing this, we appreciate you checking us out. Make sure to like and subscribe on the way out. Yes, Aaron says the bath is done, silly. All right, cool. Well,
don't forget to shave your balls.
Yeah, don't forget to shave your balls again. 20% off at Manscaped, plus free shipping if you use promo code Geek Podcast. Appreciate Manscaping for sponsoring the show for this month. So yeah, make sure to hit up Manscaped and get all your ball shaving needs taken care of there. 20% off using promo code.
You know who shaves his
Geek
balls?
Podcast.
Uhtred.
But yeah, so for this week's episode of the Absolute Geek Podcast, I'm Matt,
I'm Max.
I'm Ish.
and we'll see you guys next time.
All you freaks and geeks.
Come all you freaks and geeks. Let's listen to Absolute Geek.
Absolute Geek.
We'll go ahead and spread our cheeks
Spread the cheese.
and drink
And
some
we're for
Cosby
Absolute-
wine.
We'll
Come
drink
on,
some
you
Cosby wine. It makes me feel real fine. See you next